Live. And we are back with another wonderful episode of Survivors of Tarnstead, in which nothing bad ever happens. We are going to start off with our usual manner of introduction.
Like what happens to Darth Maul.
I know, pat. First up, we have Blackheart as
Carrick Marsh.
Kronos as
Shucks on Road Scala.
Adden as
Tilde.
Marcus as
Corvus Sodalas.
Sammy as
Justin Greysteel?
Tobias as
Louis Schwab.
and you have me, Yuli, as your friendly DM. Who would like to give the recap?
I'll do it. I
Okay.
heard the pregnant
Sorry.
pause.
I
heard
wasn't
the pregnant
here. I had to
pause.
go get my pen. I can do it.
I can do it. It's fine.
Okay.
All right. So last time on Survivor of Tarnstead, this is going to be kind of brief because I don't remember it quite as well, but except for the last part that stirred into my mind and I'm terrified. We basically run around talking to various different people. Tilde camped outside General Rosel's house at one point and scared the dickens out of him when he came out of his door in the morning. Had a talk with him about all things related to Hev Day, and also kind of slowly caught him up and made him worried about things with the gods, things with the Dreamer, things with the First Dragons, all the shit like that started coming unraveling there. Gift and Carrick, Louis Sois at one point ran off to go talk to Heya, kind of catch her up to speed on the First Dragons thing. Also caught her up on, hey, by the way, there's a guy still running around in your continent. You might want to go kill him. Hey, this is up. Don't tell anybody I said that. Shifty Eyes. I'm totally on. I'm keeping you on the up and up. Shifty Eyes. I didn't step you to the dark side. And then. She basically was nice to Louis Sois, encouraged him that, he's working with good people, blah, 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 told Gifton to stop calling him Cat because he needs to be a better... We don't really want to go into that. And, we also caught her up on the fact that her father, Hevos, had talked to the group and that there's going to be a meeting with gods. Shaxan worked on the little thingy from Tilde, fixing that up. Corvus had a really lovely talk with the Dreamer for a large part of the session, where Corvus seemed to be spiraling and freaking out about his connection to the Dreamer. The fact that he had the revelation that real Corvus apparently made a pact with the Dreamer to allow the making of this Corvus for the Dreamer's sake, and that real Corvus got a whole bunch of knowledge and power and shit like that, and then is apparently off on his own wild mystery tour doing what he wants away from the group. Corvus has kind of fallen into a bit of a spiral trying to figure out who he is, what that means to him, and he's assuming he has some sort of vileness to him, and it's concerning the Dreamer because the Dreamer doesn't like to think of itself as vile and upsetting, and doesn't understand what's wrong with itself because apparently part of itself is as having lots of issues, and it wanted to try to make better for its little probe son child and make better. How make you happy, please? Want me happy, please? You be happy. They had a okay conversation. Corvus left and then spent some time with the Brogren family, Draceel family, and then eventually met back up with everybody up in Winden, where we had a big group powwow with General Roselle. Gifton voiced her panics, which were legitimate panics, that she is worried about the safety of her family, given that she's kind of expecting that at some point the ball's going to drop, the gods are going to realize way too much, and they're going to probably try to wipe her out. So she's kind of worried about her family, and including that is Roselle. So she's trying to get Roselle off the map and trying to get him to leave his job so he will just go off with her family and protect them, and maybe protect himself at the same time. Shifty Eyes, that'd be great. She also... I believe with the group had approached Jensen, talking to him about the fact that maybe Barash should be working with the people of Zaha and the people of the Fae to make sure that the gentleman we brought into custody is, his punishment is seen fit by all parties that were harmed, because it is more than just Barast that this man has wronged. And they said something about, oh, hey, are you suggesting that you could do this or you could look into it? And she was like, yeah, I could try. I might be able to talk to some people. While we were talking to Roselle, that came back up. Roselle was like, hey, why don't we just go into one of the summoning rooms? We'll go summon a whatever you're gonna summon, stand in the circle, this will be totally safe. Gifton's like, what are you worried about standing in circles for? I do this all the time. dryads and satyrs are fine. They're good people. Won't be a problem. And foot in mouth as the dryad starts to form. There's a nice little bow. Gifton starts to do a nice little bow, and then all of a sudden she gets yanked out of reality as the great Lord Oberon, King of the Fae, manifested instead. And that's where we ended off. I
Okay.
probably lost some stuff.
I'd like to point out her use this all the time has happened twice.
No, I did it actually a bunch of times during downtime. That was one of the things I had written up. I did. Because I made buddies with the satyr that I had made friends with, and he was coming to visit. He came to visit to Beacon, hopefully, I think, and met the kids. So Gifton thought it was safe.
Okay.
Gifton was wrong.
Go ahead and take a heroic inspiration. You'll probably need it.
No.
Oh, you don't want it?
No, I don't want to need it. Woo! All right, let me make sure it's not an emergency meet one. Oh, that's a good one.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So, indeed, you all witness Oberon come into being. Very apparent who it is to most of you. Louis Soir.
Not a clue.
Not a clue.
My
Any?
friends, I haven't seen him before either.
Also true there. Any immediate reactions people want to take before I start, DM monologuing at you all?
I am. Well, I'm gonna start talking, but yeah, that's about it.
Jack's just reaching to have a hand on his gun.
I am dipping that bow a little deeper, and I am going to start with Lord Oberon, King of the Fae. We are honored, but a bit surprised by this visit.
As
I'm sending Merrick into the food zone. And the
you
mascot.
try to send Merrick into the food zone, it does not work.
Oh.
You
We're in
actually
one of
see
those
a few of the
shield
wards
rooms.
on the walls here just sort of flare up. You try and dismiss him, Carrick. Merrick sort of beeps at you curiously.
Can
Go roll insight on him.
be okay.
You're rolling an insight on Oberon?
Yeah.
Go for it.
He probably looks pissed.
I mean, or horny. Oh wait, that's right. He has a lot.
He is horny.
Hey, do not say that about my.
He's he
Great.
has antlers.
He looks curious, amused, Corvus. And as Gifton's talking and bowing, he's just sort of slowly walking around inside that magic circle, and you see him reach up a finger and trace it along the air, where you see magical energy flaring up as the warding stops him from pressing it out. But you can tell as he's drawing his finger along it, that magical flaring of energy is going from purple to a deeper red, as if it's struggling a little. But he pulls his hand away from it, and just sort of comes to a stop in front of you all with his hands behind his back. The very tall figure leaning down a little as he peers rather intently at the bowing Gifton. Rise.
I will rise.
And his eyes look you up and down a little, and his long hair sort of almost as if there's still a breeze, just moves gently as he tilts his head as he goes, "Where's Titania?"
I'm actually trying to get her back again. I was working on that, but I'm sorry to bother you directly.
Your face
sir.
and form is familiar.
Yeah, we saw each other. I believe the last time that you were at this
Yes.
place.
So what have you done with her?
She it's very complicated. She went into this it's a really beautiful white building place. Have you seen the spire things in the Fae?
Yes, the mounting assault on my kingdom.
Assault?
My land is being taken from me.
She said that was like a good thing, that it was being fixed.
And he sort of starts to lean back a little bit, and his legs lift up off of the ground, and he almost looks like he's sitting over the armchairs of a nice chair or something. And as he does, he relaxes back, floating in midair, a silver gauntlet appearing in his hand, which he just takes a sip out of, regarding all of you.
Oh,
Goblet.
I thought you said
I
goblet.
heard
The goblet from it.
Open up the goblin.
No, a
Goblet.
goblet.
Like glove.
Like
glove.
Trinity gauntlet type thing.
And I'll be honest,
totally believe that he probably had just like a knight's gauntlet. He just suddenly picks up, starts pouring a drink out of, and he goes, she, I think that she's reach up. I was gonna try and get her back into a physical form again, but that's not what we brought you, or what we were trying to.
Yes, Legul to send a call out to those realms from my land, my domain.
Well, we weren't sure how to contact anybody in the Fae, outside. That's not really an arrangement that I know of. Is there one, sir? I'm sorry.
Are you saying that you wished to contact me?
Yes.
Well then. And he leans forward, getting up off of his invisible chair, standing up and leaning down to come face to face with you, just inches away from the warding, that little circle you're within, far closer to the centre than any other. I'm here.
You remember the incident that happened here last year?
The assault on my
ago?
land and the thievery of my people, my subjects. I remember.
Yes,
And his eyes actually
yes.
drift over you to you, Telday. The torture and mutilation of my kind. I remember it.
We've been tracking down the person that did it, that was responsible. And I had been asking and she kind of gestures about more at the room, at the people here, because they didn't understand what was going on when that first happened. They just thought they just suddenly got attacked by the Fae. There was a big misunderstanding at the time. They didn't realize what that man was doing and what he brought down upon them. Or what he did to... I glance over at Telday. Anyway, they've been helping us track him down to bring him to justice, and I have been asking them to hear out the Fae on what they would like for the punishment of this man, as well as the people of Zaha, because after he left here, he fled there, and he did the same to them, as he did to the Fae.
I care not for the distant lands. I care for mine. Are you saying that you are ready to make reparations?
I was hoping to set up negotiations for that between the two groups. That's why I was trying to contact someone from your realm that could help start setting that up. I didn't expect that we would get you so quickly, sir. I look over at James. Any way you could get somebody with some authority in here?
I would like you to make me a perception check when you turn to look at James Gifton.
Okay, I'm making a perception check. It's not my strongest suit, by the way. I did okay, though.
You can see that he has actually very sort of subtly pulled out what looks like to be a casting focus. Looks like a small rod. He has a palm facing away, so it's sort of hidden in his left hand. And he looks very ready to cast something. But when you talk to him, he glances over at you and goes, I think in this situation I'm enough of an authority.
All right. Well, the gentleman in question, like I said, he's been apprehended and he is being held here, I think. Well, at least we brought him here. I don't know what they've done with him since. Would you want to see through with what the punishment would be with him? I have recommended death, but a creature who punished him in the other land that we were from made it so his soul will not leave the body when he dies.
Oh, grand. Then as an apology, I will take him.
His
There.
fate should be determined by not just yourself.
Who else would you say?
All those aggrieved.
In that case, yes, my people should be returned to me as well. Oh, they can come, hold position in my court, and oversee his punishment. We can't return your people to you. They have their own lives now. What about you? Would you like to come home? He says, looking at you, Tilde.
No, I am not that person.
Then you are not my people, are you?
No.
So once
Your
again,
people are gone.
my people have been taken, stolen from me. My subjects have been tortured and mutilated. Who is the aggrieved party here? If they no longer exist, then it is just me.
No.
No.
We are also aggrieved.
They were forcefully enslaved upon their creation. They're left twisted and wronged, also by that man. And I'll be honest, the people of Barast have also been wronged. Not nearly to the extent that you have been, but they were also wronged. And the people of Zaha, those children were ripped from their bodies.
He holds up his hand as if to ask for silence.
I will go quiet.
I care for my people, the Fae. If you are telling me that they are no longer Fae, no longer my people, then what do I care for their suffering here? Are you still enslaved?
No.
Have they made reparations towards you?
Somewhat.
Then it sounds like I am the sole party here that still needs to be compensated.
They have made moves. They may need to compensate you as well. But we speak currently of the one focal point of this problem. The cause. He has not paid our people.
There is very little you can give me. He is what I want. You suggest there is something grander?
I think, Great Lord Oberon, the main concern is to make sure that this man is silenced and that his work does not continue. That is what at least my harbors and worries are. I would need proof that he is settled.
You would need proof from me.
No. I would need proof from anyone who does it. From them, from you, over at Telday. I would want to know that he is not going to go off and do this again, for he has gone off to do this again. And you are a good king who protects his people.
That man would do nothing but sing songs of agony for the rest of his existence. His little secrets of iron and the thievery of Fae kind, they would land on no ears.
It seems dangerous. Other things have escaped from your home.
Because of what he did. Because he tore at them and he made the poor unicorn suffer.
The only thing that could come and try and take him from me would have to go through the immensity of the Feywilds, or would have to originate from right here. I need to suggest that these people would attack my realm again.
No, I do not think they would. They are not so foolish. And if they are, then they deserve what's coming. I will ask that he be released to you. That is all I can do. I will bow my head. I am unfortunately not somebody who can make that decision.
Then I must ask, if you didn't summon me here, or a servant to try and contact me, just to hand him over and make the well-deserved apology, why did you want my attention?
I'll be honest, that was the first thing on my mind.
Good.
The other is I need
As it
to
should be.
apologize because I realize now that summoning your servant here was probably in the wrong.
That was
I'm
not
sorry.
my servant. You called one loyal to you.
Yes, but I did not realize pulling them from the realm would be seen so hostily.
Hmm.
And I also assume entering the realm is also seen as a hostile act.
Depends what you bring with you. Intent matters.
I have never entered the Feywild with intention of harm.
Well, if there is nothing else, I would consider it peace made if he was returned to me.
How would you wish us to contact you if we can arrange for him to be delivered?
I'll listen for you. Do the same thing you did, although I would very much appreciate not being put in a little box.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is there any way we could just take him out of the thing, you know?
I don't think
Guru.
that's wise.
But I don't, it's just really rude.
Immensely rude. Resty, I was actually looking at the rest of you as if trying to say, I don't think it's a good idea.
Luiswa's not saying a thing. He doesn't know this guy, and
I will look over. Can I step in there then? Because it feels weird to talk to him from like the other side of a bubble.
Raziel hesitates as if the answer is yes, and he doesn't want to say so. I should stay where you are, Gifton. There is no trust here, is there? If I wanted to harm any of you, this circle would not hold me. Oh. And he leans down again, and he sort of holds his hand out to you.
And I will take it.
He brings it up, and he plants a gentle kiss on it. A pleasure, fair lady.
Greysteel.
Greysteel. An unusual name. Also unusual for
Yeah.
your kind to walk among stairs.
Yeah. There's been a lot of changes. I hope that we can meet again. And I hope that reparations are made to you and your people. I am very sorry for what happened.
Indeed. And he looked over at Telday again. Tell me, Lady Greysteel, how are they treating my mutilated people?
They are trying their best to keep them from self-harm. They're trying their best to help them find bits and pieces of their lives, but they do not understand the nature of the souls that they took, or they do not, I believe, even believe that they were Fey souls in a way. They have, I believe, convinced themselves that they must have been from somewhere else, trapped in the Fey.
Terrible deception that has been laid on them. If any of them want to come home, let them know that they are welcome, and they will be loved and cared for and helped to heal.
Thank you.
And if they are not allowed to return, I will come for them. What did you just call me?
Oh, nothing. Sorry, I got my Fey lords and ladies messed up there.
Surely you know the name of one of the great four Fey.
You just reminded me of somebody else for a moment. I'm sorry. I'm going to bow deeply. Greatest apologies, Lord Oberon.
You feel his grip on you tighten briefly, and there is the ever so slightest narrowing of his eyes. before he lets you go and stands up tall again. In that case, I'm going to depart. Contact me when you've settled what you are going to do. And perhaps once peace is made, amendments are made, we can discuss what else there is, because I do not feel this is the only reason to contact me.
I feel with those spires there, if they're actually an intrusion, then we are not done yet.
I had assumed it was someone else doing it. Still. Till next we meet.
Next we meet.
And he's going to give a long, flourishing bow.
May the melody carry you.
And when you say that, he glances up at you again as he shimmers and vanishes.
Okay, I don't actually think I can get out of this bubble.
No, you cannot. 1 second. And Raziel is actually going to come over, and he leans down to start scraping away at the circle. And then he pauses, glancing over at Corvus and Carrick. He's not invisible in there, is he?
See anything?
You do not.
I'll move up close to it and do the best I can with my blind sight.
There is no one else in there other than Gifton.
It's just Gifton's.
Yes, that's all I can.
Right, good.
Oh, brother, do you think he's that wily?
Yes, I do. And he scratches away the marking.
It appears that he is undergoing a threat to his reign. Perhaps it is not an invasion in the way that he claims.
No, it's a changing of the Fae back into what it was. It would be perceived to the Fae that they were losing their lands.
This is something that you are contributing to in that matter. I'm a bit lost.
When I purified the remains of Lalasil, I had that vision, remember? Of the heaven, and I've since been showing that image of the city. It's reforming in the Fae. Big, beautiful spires are popping up in places. And I assume that's where Titania is, because the last I saw her, she was in a vision in one of those places, and I feel like the best way to reach her again is there.
Raziel was just sort of rubbing his chin a little bit as he puts away the little knife he used to scratch away.
Well, so that went better than expected in several ways.
You know, you want to help him, right?
Yep.
Do you know the names of the Fey rulers?
Out of character. The player has never been given such things and would not know if I would know it from any lore.
From Brandon lore, you know Titania and Oberon. They are the focus here.
I only know Titania and Oberon, unfortunately.
No, there's a third. Supposedly subsiding mostly on Illen's continent, Sessenia or something like that. It's been a while since I've read up on them.
Would anyone else? Any of the rest of us know it?
He mentioned 4, yes. Give me a roll, Kronos.
Which they
I would like Arcana from you.
Okay.
Actually,
Would
history.
I be able
History.
to attempt a roll or
It's
no?
exact same roll, so
Okay.
they're both 19s.
You can attempt the roll. You'll have a higher DC than Kronos has, just because of background.
But still history.
Yeah.
Louis Swan knows nothing.
Alright. Yeah. Shaxon and Carrick. Yeah, they are mentioned as another Fey Queen, just like Titania. Indeed, dwelling over in Inland's Land, supposedly quite kind. Doesn't really interact with mortals too much, but not a hostile one. Counted amongst the 3 great Archfey, the considered rulers even over other Archfey and so on.
Yes.
If we rolled high enough,
I've
you
had
know.
some readings of that.
Yeah, they kind queen, they say, but stays away from the mortal realm.
Lala Sil's Archangel is numbered 4.
Mm.
Does
He did take mention of the four great lords and ladies.
So Lana Sil,
well,
Faye, God, this
3 lords and ladies because Dadriel was never a part of them.
lords and ladies now.
Oberon out of character. Oberon said 4.
He did
Yeah.
indeed.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
that's what
Oberon
Shax is saying.
mentioned
He said 4.
And yet history books only account for 3, which suggests some erroneous miss
Would
on
they
either.
exist in pairs?
You would think so. A king and a queen each.
I mean, if there were 4 archangels, we know who the 4th archangel was. But we also know he was not turned to the Fae.
What I'm suggesting is perhaps he is misremembering.
Or could
It
the
could be.
Fae have created a 4th well where one should be? Could it have remembered?
Possible, but there are no mentions of such a thing.
Elevated someone as a regent, perhaps.
Maybe
Entirely
he
possible.
was saying a falsehood on purpose.
That is possible too.
It could
Lots
be a
of-
strange blending
Any
of previous and current memory
But
sets.
I don't understand
what
what the
Zion said.
purpose of us knowing that there are 4 is.
I don't think he meant there to be a purpose, for. I think it was just a mention.
Hmm.
Still, there are plenty of possibilities to that, but
Oh, I mean, mission success though, right?
sort of.
Yeah. So I'm gonna need that guy, and I'm gonna go into the woods somewhere, and then I'm gonna kick him through a portal.
I mean, it might be best to do it here since we know this is where his realm is. If you go
No,
elsewhere,
no, no, no,
maybe.
no, 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 no. You don't want. I don't want to open up any chance for Oberon to be at this base again. I think that's very unwise. There's enough tension here.
If you put him outside of Oberon's realm, he may not be able
I
to
can
get.
find Oberon's realm quite easily. I'm
Oberon's
sure.
realm is quite vastly larger than this city is.
Well, if he's king of the Fae, wouldn't just punting him in this guy, punting the scientist into any of the Fae realm?
Well, you don't want to just punt him unattended, basically.
No,
may
well,
find a
multiple
weak
points on
spot.
that. I don't think even if we are to hand him over, we want to just, as much as I trust you all and Stenhouse does, I don't think you'll be able to just take him under the promise that you'll see him safely. There will likely be military presence to hand him over.
No. Yes.
And
There may
as
be
to the Feywild, again, it's a little harder. Study of the Feywild is never an easy subject, even for, well, nations well versed in hand in magical matters, he says, looking at Shaxon.
I mean, it's kind of what you make of it, really.
But the domains are supposed to be split up somewhat. I assume that he has subsumed Titania somewhat in her absence, but
That may be why those are assaulting his domain, because she may be starting with what was hers.
He feels threatened by a loss of what he felt was his.
yes, and I suppose after actually
Not
having
surprising.
something taken from him, that's likely causing him more concern than it normally would.
Yes, he doesn't strike me as one who loses things easily or tolerates it.
He is the jealous lord. Well,
What was he like when he was an angel? As to say,
Gabriel?
magnification of.
And you can see an actual look of disgust on Raziel's face.
I
He's a
apologize.
prick.
He was a bash
Insufferable.
to a point, insufferably good, insufferably decent, insufferably everything that made Lalin Lalin.
Oh,
Louis was just looking over at Raziel. So he was insufferably insufferable.
Yes, have you ever had to hang around a person of utmost decency and love and care?
No, we have never met anyone like that.
I
Yes.
never met anybody
Privilege
like
was
that.
gifted.
That was the person I called my boss for a while.
Well,
One of them.
he was a good person.
So,
I think his only flaw was, well, he cared how he looked. I don't think that robbed him of any genuinity of his actions, though.
well, you know, a little bit of vanity. You can
I was
understand it.
wondering if
I think vanity afflicts most of my kind, to be fair.
No, you can't help it. You're such beautiful people.
Oh, well, in my case.
No. Hmm.
I
Alright,
suppose
well,
I need
we're-
to talk to some people. And
Yeah, I'm sorry.
it is
All
late
of that.
already. How about
It
you all
is.
go get some rest and return in the morning?
Okay.
Corvus is already by the door. It's just
that later.
hasn't had any contribution to this.
Workday
I-
late, yes, Carrick.
Okay, not
Because
late.
it was
in the
late. It was probably
day,
late afternoon.
workday.
So
Okay. Yep.
I'm gonna
Okay.
go over and give Raziel a hug.
And he hugs you back rather tightly.
Sorry to scare you.
Don't go stepping into magic circles with hostile beings like that.
Oh, I can't help it. I come from a long line of really dumb people.
That you do. He says, actually just sort of absentmindedly patting the back of your head before he releases the hug.
That's why I need you to keep me safe. As much as you can, anyway. I am pretty bullheaded.
Telday,
Yes.
you have talked to more of your people than I have, shamefully admitting. Have any of them ever
This is
shown
possible.
any inclinations of wanting to go back there?
It is unclear whether that is a priority. It has not been presented as an option before. It would need to be discussed.
Do you think you could make inquiries on my behalf? I would ask Jensen, but I don't think they share everything with us. Quite naturally, honestly.
Do you know of leaders amongst the people within this community?
Yes. There is one that calls himself Lord. He has a small following. I think it's more self-assigned, but we'll have to listen to him.
That is of no surprise.
That's amazing. I mean, if you think about it, if you got a chance to rediscover yourself and somebody was like, so who are you? I would totally be like, I'm Queen Lee.
You know, you could do that now.
I could?
Yes.
There is also one called Mono. They have a small gathering every month. I think they try to keep tabs on the community, and they have some respect. Not so much a leader as... I wouldn't know what to call it, honestly.
Maybe more of a
Counselor.
guide.
Yes. They live quite close to the docks. They've rented a apartment near one of the warehouses. I can try and get the address for you if you want.
That would be appreciated. I will also have to contact Nathaniel.
Okay, right. I'm sure you're quite capable of doing that, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll buzz ahead, tell the front desk to give you the addresses you need.
Hi, yes,
Thank
as well,
you.
Tilde. When you have a spare moment, I think I've finished repairs on your friend. so you should be able to be reinstalled.
In that case, it would be best to have that done as quickly as possible. Assistance may be essential.
And I suggest you maybe get yourself and your friend. Does your friend have a name?
It has not been discussed.
How long were you gone?
10,000 years?
It has been some time since he was active for more than a brief period.
You both should have a nice chat then.
Yeah.
We have never done that.
Oh. But
I do not believe he likes me.
oh no, the poor thing. Is there a different arrangement we can come to for him then?
And I will be honest, from the few interactions I witnessed of you, did not seem you were particularly fond of him either.
He was quite annoying initially. It did take several hundred years to warm up to him.
Well,
That, or perhaps I merely had given in.
friendships are formed in many different ways. Right, out of the Fey room, which I should get this place checked out. I just don't trust him.
Probably a good idea.
I'm sorry, brother.
No, it was my suggestion.
No, but I'm the one who was shooting her mouth off, wanting to make reparations with the Fae, and I just don't like how. I'm just worried if this gets left to fester, that Brass really will have a problem with the Fae.
Even beyond that, you are on the right track. We need to get into his realm.
Well, we need to be on his good side, and
That
means we
get into his realm.
The armory.
The armory. I tap my badge.
That's
Honestly, the way it seems, just the way he acts, stroke his ego.
Oh my.
That doesn't always work with the Fae. I mean, it works quite a ways.
It's
Most of them you get away with some fine alcohol.
It's a dangerous balance. You'll be stroking their ego and they'll be loving it and lapping it up, and then they will see that you're stepping too far.
far.
Mm-hmm. Once they decide that you're not being sincere, that's when it becomes dangerous.
Or that they decide that they are just tired of the sycophancy or something like that. Fickle creatures.
Yeah. Fae, terrible people.
Mm.
Can't like
So mercurial. You never know what their
them.
moods are going to be, and he pats his shoulder, Gifton.
Yeah. I nod. I mean, you just never know when they're just gonna suddenly lunge at you at any moment and haul you off without a word.
I still am a
It's just
talented
like-
mage, by the way, Gifton, if you have any thought of kidnapping me.
Oh, it's fine. It's just not like I know where you live. Smile.
Okay. Right. Off you go. We should get the ball
Start
rolling.
boarding your house soon.
I'd say I never sleep, but that is decidedly untrue these days.
Very much do I.
And remember to be prepared in case we are finally summoned to speak to the...
Yes. I really hope that you can be there for that. If you don't want to come, it's fine, but
I'm coming with you.
Okay. My gosh.
Right, okay. Right. You know the way out, yes?
Yes.
I need to go make
that
calls.
way. All right.
Yes, that way, and then up the long elevator, and you're done.
And past the shooty area and all that stuff. Yeah. Tell Thomas I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sure he'll forgive you.
I don't know. All right. And I'm gonna start walking that way.
Okay.
I'm gonna pat Dingus.
Dingus sort of nibbles at your hand when you pat him a bit, and gets out a little concerned meep. Alright, you will start heading up as James actually sort of heads further down the corridor, heading towards what you would know till they are offices and so on in this area.
He's like, "Hey, it's 4:00 on a Friday, but I need to talk to you, Jonathan."
And
So,
you
remember how
are
Gibson was here?
able to see yourselves out of the compound. If you want to stop by the front desk tell day, James has indeed phoned ahead, and the person there will hand you a couple of cards with information written on them.
Thank you. This is appreciated.
Of course. Do mind yourself with this one. He's a little bit of a insufferable git, frankly. It says with Lord's
I have
card.
no idea what that is like.
Well, then good day to you all. Right, and you are all able to leave. Where would people like to go?
Does the group want me to teleport them back to the airship? Back
That
in
would be a good
Saha?
idea.
You're not moving the airship for any reason, are you, Gibson?
I don't see a purpose in moving it. It's
I
not
may
Saha.
catch up at a later date.
It cannot
Yeah.
move at this point anyways. It has to be down a couple days before
Wait,
it
do you
airs.
know where it is? Have you been there since I moved it?
I believe he was there when it landed. He's been there since it landed
I
there.
was there since it landed.
Okay, I didn't know if you got there since it
Yeah.
landed. I remembered we literally came to Wyndon to see you, so I didn't remember.
Right. Well, remember, we
we're-
landed,
we're-
we left to go to Temple, we did Temple stuff, we left
hadn't
Temple
landed.
stuff.
It hadn't
had-
landed when we did that.
Oh,
It hadn't landed.
It landed
No,
in
it-
between.
It landed well since we've been gone while we were out. So I'm just gonna say, just in case you don't know, it's in the same city where we went and got coffee and did the shopping, where we met with Denoran.
Right. I will.
If you go to the coffee
See.
place, you'll see it on the horizon in the
Yeah,
bay.
north
Okay?
along the coast.
North along the coast. It'll be fine. All right,
Right.
and I'm gonna lead everybody down to the Illan Temple. That's where I like to use my tree.
Mhm.
Okay.
Corvus will follow just to see him off. He's not going to just
Mhm.
disappear.
Hey, Corvus.
Yes.
You're still my Corvus. They give you a pat on the shoulder.
You can tell Gifton wants to hug, but no like touchy.
Yeah, Gifton has that look of physical contact.
Perhaps you would like to speak to some of my people. You have the opportunity to be whatever you wish now. It can be a daunting situation.
I can't be whatever I wish. I am still.
He is still the same man who saved me in Tarnstead. He is still the same man who made all those decisions the whole way here.
Nothing has changed about me, just the realizations that.
Just the realization that apparently part of you betrayed yourself and went off with a bunch of knowledge and power.
I'm not angry about that.
And
Yeah.
the other part of you stayed with us.
Your friends. And that makes you the best part of Corvus to me.
Yes. I would agree to that.
Anyway, so Illan Temple, lovely place.
As you're approaching the Eden Temple, strangely enough, you actually see the father there talking to a Warforged, who has a basket over one arm that seems to be full of basically bulbs and so on, plants.
Oh. Basket of one arm.
Gifton's going to start fishing in her bag and pull out a small little sapling.
And as you all
This is an
approach,
apple.
Father Ted sees you all approaching as he's sort of facing the Warforged. It has their not their back to you, but side back ways.
Very quartered.
And he just gives you all a polite nod, and as he's continuing his conversation, you go straight to the tree. Do you want to stop over by them? What are you doing?
I'll wait politely.
Okay. If you're waiting nearby, if you want to try and overhear the conversation, go ahead and give me perception checks.
I'm not.
You want to be little nosy eavesdroppers?
I'm gonna be noisy little person to like.
Yuli?
Mhm.
Can we get swapped over to the Wyndon map?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, we're going to the Wyndon map.
Mm-hmm.
London map.
Jax does not seem to be as concerned about hearing.
Where is my
Great.
window map? There it is.
Where is my good map?
Okay. All right, Jackson, you're not very good at hearing today.
It seems kind of vaguely unconcerned that he's working on some other things.
You need your ears cleaned out.
Everyone else, you can hear their conversation quite clearly. They're not trying to hide anything. There's no hushed whispers. The Warforged seems to be inquiring about advice on helping their plants grow, which Father Ted is happily providing. Just telling them about different soil concentrations, that kind of thing. What should be
Shade
watered
and all
and
that
so on.
stuff.
And the Warforged seems quite pleased about this and thanks them profusely. And actually, you've seen different Warforged moving. Some move far more naturally than others. Some are quite stilted, robotic in the movement. Others move with an almost standard fluidity. This one seems particularly graceful, reaching out and taking one of the father's hands within their own and just giving it a very gentle shake. Before they turn to head off, and they pause briefly at sight of you all, their gaze moving over to Telday, and they raise that basketed arm and give a little bit of a wave before they start to walk off not too far. They seem to be heading towards if you look on the map, they're heading off around the temple. You're not? I thought I moved you to the window map.
I am not.
Oh, you're not. There you go. You were separated out.
I'm not either.
I figured you were just busy.
There you go. Right, so now everyone on the window map.
Yes.
Yes?
Like,
They,
I
seem,
like how
they
it's
head
always
off
that.
around the side of the Winden Temple and seem to be heading off in this direction.
Okay.
Are they changed? I think the cards changed.
Yuli, what is in this area aside from the Ilan Temple?
Eden Temple and many generic buildings. Are you looking for anything in particular?
Any odd little shops or whatnot? Because Louis hasn't really been in a major city
Nothing
in a long
odd.
time.
There might be a couple of little. It is mostly housing out here. There might be a baker's down the street. There's a few of the general conveniences. There's nothing fancy.
Okay.
Do you want
We-
a
we-
tour
on
of
the way
the capital, Louisois?
At the moment, it doesn't seem to matter. It seems that we want to be on this airship more than anything.
Right, as the Warforged heads off, Father Ted actually walks on over to you all, and he actually gives you a little bow, Gifton, and
I give him a very deep bow of somebody who appreciates Father Ted very much.
Lady Greysteel, it's wonderful to see you
Father
and your friends
Ted.
again.
It's wonderful to see you as well.
And Lord
I don't-
Adalas, you're doing well, I hope?
Splendid.
Look over at her last quizzically and Father Ted, like, when did they hang out? I'm going to hold forth the little sapling. Is there any room near the temple for this?
What sapling is this, Gifton?
This is a little apple seed that got bloomed into a tiny little sapling by me when we were testing doorways for safety.
I was right.
Yeah.
I've been keeping it alive in my bag.
He takes it from you and looks it over and goes, "What's it? An apple tree?"
Yeah, it's just a brave little sapling.
Certainly,
Been on a
I
bit of a journey.
can plant this out back.
I would really appreciate that. Thank you. It's been to Zahad back, and I think it could use a nice moist soil to live in.
Oh, then, if you accompany me as I do so.
Oh, of course. And I'll follow him.
And as he starts to walk around the back of the temple, he just sort of idly chatters as he moves. So what brings you all back here?
My favorite place to see the trees, of course.
Of course. And, kind business in the city, I hope.
Trying to make better inroads for the Fae, locally.
Locally.
Yeah.
We don't really get many Fae, locally.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's it. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of communication between the two parties, so trying to see if we can smooth some things over.
Well, I wish you all of the best luck with that. And he actually takes what looks like to be a little trowel out of essentially, the large baggy pockets you tend to get on things. Almost. Blackheart, you wear hoodies. What's the front pocket called that you can put your arms all the way through to the other side?
Punch.
Pooch. It's something quite like that on his robes. He pulls the trowel out of it and he kneels down, digging a little spot away from most of the other things, giving us plenty of room to, have. And yeah, but he plants it down and he sort of covers it up. And as he clasps his hand together, he pauses briefly and looks around and goes, "If anyone would like to join me in a prayer to Willen to help this."
I will bow my head and begin to pray Dylan as well with him. It
And
would be an honor.
Jax will as well.
Carrick will attempt.
if for those that kneel down and join him, you hear him going, "Great Wildfather, please help this sapling. Nourish it, help it grow, flourish. It is another of your beloved gifts to us and an important gift to me. And I hope that it will help others nourish its seed." And he sort of gives a sidelong glance towards you, Giffen, and act as a reminder to us all of the gifts that can be given from Fae to human, and vice versa. And he just releases the clasp of his hands and stands up, just wiping them off on his robes. Right. Well,
That was very lovely.
thank you deeply for the gift, Miss Brooklyn. Graysteel.
All right. I get it messed up myself.
Is there anything else I can help you all with?
You are very knowledgeable about Ilin, being a priest of Ilin.
I'd like to think so.
Could you tell me much about his lands?
Oh, his continent.
Yes.
Oh, I can tell you what is written, and I've read more than most, I suppose. I've sadly never had first-hand experience myself, although I do dream of doing so.
You'd go there if you could.
Of course. It must be splendid and wild.
It's probably quite beautiful.
Yes, and as much as I am happy to have the amenities of modern culture, he says, sort of looking over at the city walls with a wistful look. The fact that they are supposed to be far more in touch with nature and their surroundings, it speaks to me. More than perhaps some would realise.
I smile. Well, if I make my way out that way, maybe I'll kidnap you for a trip through the trees. We could see it together.
Oh, a visit there would be a wondrous thing, although I would not wish to trouble you.
Oh, it's no trouble for me. I think I've troubled the trees more than they like. I smile.
Then I am happy to regale you with tales of his land. Do you have time now?
I guess with the group. You guys okay for listening to some stories about Illin's continent, or do we need to get going?
I would not mind. If any don't,
By all means.
probably open a portal.
I expect you have people to see till day.
Yes, I should go.
Well, if you ever wish to come see me yourself, please do so.
I apologize.
Your skin may be made of steel, but you are a child of nature as much as anyone else, I think.
Gibson has outlook of more than you realize. I will give a nod to Tilde. Well, maybe we'll catch up another time.
Yes, apologies.
Go in peace, brother. I hope I get to
People
talk to you
might
sometime. Rest of you, perhaps you'd like some tea.
Yeah.
And he
Sounds like lovely.
he smiles and he leads you into not into the temple, but into the building next to it. Which he opens up, and he seems to leave the door slightly ajar in general here. It's not locked, he doesn't have to unlock it, he just pushes it open and sort of gestures for you all to come in. Please make yourself comfortable. I'm sorry if it's a little messy in here. I spend most of my time in the temple rather than at home.
I could not hold that against you. You're very diligent with the temple.
Thank you. And as you all come in, it is definitely untidy in here, but more in the sense that there are plants everywhere. Little potted plants, basically on whatever surface they can be. Of course, there's the usual residue of that, pots that have leaked out, leaves that have fallen.
It's a soil here and there.
Yeah.
Who's gonna sit on the cat?
Porpoise shivers.
Oh, you have quite a collection in here.
Oh, yes. Of course, some of them don't thrive quite as well outside in this climate, so, well, in here they stay.
That's very kind of you. I'm sure they appreciate the attention.
Yes, I have specimens from different continents as well. If you want to take let me get the tea on first. But please,
Yes.
do feel free to look around. And he sort of hurries into his little back kitchen. And yeah,
First, we'll poke around.
yeah. If you look around, there are some unusual plants here. Some you definitely don't recognise, Corvus, even with your reading. You do see something that looks rather Saharan, a little sort of flowering cactus. There is a little, what looks like to be a tiny tree. Sort of its little branches jutting off in angles, quite beautifully arranged. Yes, and there's not quite enough seating to be comfortable. There are stools and so on, and a small sofa. But 3 of you can sit on the sofa, a couple of you on stools. It's not cozy. But he soon comes back in with a tray with a teapot and some cups on it, which he sets down.
Thank you.
Later, Ted.
Yes.
Thank you.
Are these all ornamental in nature? As you use them for any particular properties?
Oh, well, I wouldn't call them ornamental. Their existence is their existence, It's.
Oh,
But
yes.
I don't tend to harvest from them or anything. No. Make sure that they are healthy and cared for. Frankly, most of them are, I suppose, decorative is a decent word for it. They're beautiful things, gifts that have been given to me over the years.
I think
It's
they're marvelous.
very lovely.
I've never seen any of these before.
Yes, that one there, you might have particularly interested in if you're interested in Illin's continent.
Don't touch that one, Gifton. It's sharp.
It's a carnivorous plant.
Carnivorous.
Lamp?
Yes, and he
It eats meat.
That's why I'm asking. the
insects and small
carnivorous
rodents
part.
mostly.
Gifton makes a face.
Actually, I want to make a.
Go for it.
I want to make a natural to see if I've ever heard of a carnivorous plant here.
Bet, man.
Don't do that. You probably heard
You
it.
should not be
I
seeking
did-
advances
I
of random
just-
plants.
I just was lifting the leaf up because sometimes leaves have particular nuances.
No, Brass does not really have any flycatchers or anything.
Okay.
And he, as he pours the tea, he nods a little bit and goes, "Yes, see the sort of flap at the top of it? It's got this large bulbous bottom body. It's
It's a pitcher.
yes, it's a pitcher plant. It attracts things in there with scent, and then that top of it snaps down,
Sticky.
and things are digested within, and then it grows."
Gifton, it's the forbidden pool.
Mm,
Do they grow in an area that doesn't I'm guessing with my nature roll of +12, I probably understand. Plant make food from light.
Yes.
Are you open? Do they live in the dark usually?
Not so much, not pure dark, but they are in heavily, wooded areas, as a lot of Ilan's continent is.
A lot of insects.
Oh, a lot of insects, a lot of creatures. But they can't rely entirely on sunlight, so they find other sources of nourishment.
And this is from Ilan's continent, these types of plants.
Yes.
Do they get bigger?
Oh, there are some substantially larger ones in Ilan's continent. There are even plants over there that can move and walk. It's wondrous things.
Ah.
You'll find that Ilan's land, the line between plant and animal often blurs as well. It's almost its own Feywild in a sense, although a lot more mortal. I find it quite a beautiful way. Not only does the line between plant and animal blur, civilization and nature, that overlaps as well.
Speaking of the Fae and Ilan's continent, have you ever heard of, are there any Fae lords and ladies over on Ilan's continent?
Oh, yes, quite a few.
A few?
Yes.
You?
Yes.
What ones?
Just like over here, there are many lords and ladies.
I think what the Gifton is asking is more of the major ones.
Yes. Oh, well, if you're looking for major ones,
Like
then
Titania, Oberon.
yes,
Danger.
the kings, the queens, the lords. Okay, yes, I understand. Yes, if there are a few major ones, but at the top of them all, of course, is Sassarin.
Sassarin.
Yes, she's a. They call her a Fey Queen over there, much like the ancient stories of Titania are here. Some scholars say that they are one and the same. I'm not entirely sure on that. Too many stories have them both in the same location, but you never know with Fable. Yes, she is supposed to be a Fey Lady of Kindness, although she doesn't brook any nonsense, much like most of them do. I have a couple of books that have some stories including her if you want.
I'm gonna dig into my big hoodie and pull out a little wooden coin and go, would you think this might have come from maybe her court?
And he sort of reaches out for it if you let him take it.
Yeah.
And he takes a look at it. You see him sort of looking it over. He holds it up to get a bit of better light. It's entirely possible. You know the ornamentation that the Fey Lords and Ladies tend to have, Oberon's antlers making the crown, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There are some distinct patternings, and artists that depict them tend to try to be quite accurate in it, as it's one of their distinguishing features. They like to change their faces and their outfits and so on so much, but those tend to remain. And if you see the trifecta here, you've got the two horns coming from the side, and then the one that runs along the centre. Would appear to be her.
Interesting.
Beautiful item. Yeah. And he hands it back to you.
Received it as a gift from someone who felt I'd be interested in the item of the Fae. And I'm kind of curious of its origin. I was told it was from Ilan's continent.
I've only ever seen drawings of those in books. Little Fey tokens of favour.
Yes. I kind of wonder what such a thing would be used for.
Classically, in fact, Henham, he actually goes over to a shelf and pulls off a book and starts to flick through it. And he comes back over, showing you what looks like to be a children's book. The script in it you don't recognise, but he points to one of the illustrations, which is quite beautifully done. Lots of greens and vivid teals and so on. But it seems to depict what looks like to be a woman in a sort of butterfly gown, holding out a box to a young man. This story in particular talks about a young man that helps save a lost, injured doe in Ilan's land. which turned out to be the favoured child of some great fae, who gave him a token of gratitude, a coin, and told him that should he ever want anything from her, he would just return it. And he did later on in his life to get a gift for his daughter. It is, I mean, essentially, it's currency. It is maybe a more of an IOU.
Interesting. So it's basically a favor for later.
Yes, although they are intended to also be handed down through families. Well, frankly, if you found the fae that handed this out, you could use it.
Interesting. Not that I would know what much use it, but yeah.
I wonder if something marks whose it is.
It's supposed to be known to those that have it, really.
Mm-hmm.
But there is supposed to be good favour in keeping these as well. The Fae see great respect in those that don't ask for something in return. You know how the stories go, keeping hold of something when it could help you. It's supposed to be empowering. Those sort of fables.
Yeah.
Well, still, there are many things I could tell you. Is there anything in particular you want to know?
I would love to know what the greatest city of Ilan's continent is, and anything you could tell me about it, because you want to go there someday, I assume. You'd like to see
I
it?
do indeed. The greatest city, that's a little harder. There aren't any cities per se, not as we would know them, although there are gatherings of...
Temples or landmarks, that sort of thing.
I suppose the greatest would be one of the Wood Elven regions. They don't so much have a centralized gathering of buildings, but their settlements, their homes, they sort of spend throughout the woods there, worked within the trees, in the treetops, some even burrowing beneath into the roots, whatever they need. They coax the trees to grow as they need them to. Let's see, and you open up notes that she did not expect to be using today, so excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Expect everything to be used when you don't expect it.
I'm just grasping for information for a teleport spell later. I'm sorry.
And he stroked his chin. Afelrian.
It's a good do with me because I have a
They call it
Elrian?
Afelrian, they call it.
I am not going to be able to properly spell that, so hopefully I'll get a spelling at some point, but don't worry about it right now.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure I spelled the Fey Lady name wrong earlier, but again, I can get that later.
There you go.
Alright.
I just missed a single S.
Yeah. In fact, most of the wood elves that currently live on Barast can draw their heritage to there.
Interesting.
It's supposed to be a grand place, trees of silver and wonderful fey lights.
Oh.
I
If I
have
go there sometime, I will definitely need to snatch you up so you can give me a proper tour, and we can both find out all sorts of interesting things.
I would definitely like to see it, although personally there are some famous druid groves that I would very much like to see. Most of them...
tell me of those.
Oh, they're quite varied. Each grove tends to dedicate itself to a different nature spirit. There will be a great elk of the forest in one region, or a great wolf in another. It varies. There are many of these spirits, but they dedicate themselves to them, and this is where their learning and power comes from.
Which druid grove would you want to see?
Just a mild interest. There is a druid grove to the southeast of the continent that dedicates itself to the wolf of the woods there. It's somewhere I'd just like to see myself.
I'd like to see it too. I smile.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
I have a very, very crude map of the land if you'd like to see it.
Oh, could I borrow it? Yeah, maybe Carrot could make me a copy of it.
He actually clearly hesitates a little bit, and if he promised to be careful with it, they are very hard to come by. the locals do not find much reason to map more beyond their current area, and well,
How large is it? Maybe
what, the land itself?
the map.
Oh, the map. It is again a crude thing. It's able to overflow this table a little bit, but it's not particularly detailed. It was made by those that went out on boats around there. There have been no airships over the area since they were invented.
Kind of look. Is the table actually clear enough to put the map on?
No.
Okay, I figured that because I should be like, maybe.
Or maybe we can save that for when we decide to go there, and we'll just have to steal you and your map along for the adventure.
I wouldn't mind showing you it at the very least.
Okay.
Yes.
And he actually goes over to the bottom of this book cabinet and he opens up a drawer where he pulls out a rolled piece of very large vellum, it looks like, which he will sort of very carefully unroll, just holding it up and sort of leaning around to look around a bit. And yeah, it's a definitely a crude map, cruder than most you see for most regions. It's got these sort of very basically marked out, like this is a foresty area, there's a major river here, here's the general outline of the coast. There is a lot of areas marked, here is a very foresty area.
Very, very dense forest here.
But in particular,
long hallways here.
in particular, there is what looks like to be a very largely drawn tree, like out of scale with the rest of the map.
What's with this?
Seems unusual.
I assume it is a very large tree.
Oh yes, the immense tree at the centre of the continent, said to be Ilan's seat of power.
Huh.
It towers, above most mountains, apparently. Said you can see it wherever you are, as long as you get above the tree line.
Wow.
Yes,
That sounds amazing.
it does sound like quite the sight, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Well, I've taken up quite a bit of your time. Thank you so much for the tea. And I hope you won't mind if I kidnap you someday. I smile.
He seems amused by your choice of words, considering what you are, but he just sort of bows his head and goes, I would very much enjoy that.
One of the few people that wouldn't be so frightened by the prospect.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. There are more people than you realise that think kindly of the Fae. Well, some that are even quite wistful about the idea of travelling into the Fae world.
Yeah, I wish more people could.
Maybe if your talks you were mentioning go well, maybe we'll see a greater era of peace between the two.
I can only hope so. I can also hope for tolerance for my own people from the Fae. All right, well, let me get these lovely folks back to their ship. But I hope, again, thank you for the use of your beautiful grove. It is very useful.
Anytime you do, please.
It is the greatest blessing that I have seen on this land for Millen. Thank you for this. And I bow my head.
I thank you for the blessing of your company.
And I'll go lead somebody over to a random tree because I seem to pick a different one every time.
Okay. Right, you were able to head over to the tree and open
everybody to the airship.
And open up a portal to the airship. Anyone staying behind? Anyone not going through the Griffin's portal? And beyond, of course, Telday, who's not here.
Corvus is staying behind.
Corvus staying behind. Okay. Right, you stay behind Corvus, and you can see Father Ted actually watching from a short distance away, seemingly in religious wonderment at the sight of this travel. But as the portal closes, he looks over at you and goes, "Are you truly okay, my friend?"
As good as one can be without a soul and having the realization that you don't have one. But
Jesus Christ, don't do this to Father Ted.
You're saying that? Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have a soul.
You already saw that. Just helping you connect the dots.
Would you mind give me a hand briefly, tidying up the cups and so on?
Someone's gonna get bushwhacked and slammed with some holy water.
Is there a particular reason why?
2 more moments of company.
Sure, that would be the least we could do. Using your tree all the time.
And
To clean up.
he smiles softly and heads back into the home with you. And indeed, as he just picks up the cups and sets them on the tray, doesn't seem to particularly need your help for it. Just takes them off into the kitchen before coming back into the living room. And out from his robes, he pulls out a heavy key, very thickly wrought one.
A heavy what?
Key.
Key.
Lock and key. Yes.
Yeah.
Which he uses to open up a door that's sort of adjacent to the kitchen. Would you mind if I showed you something? You're in no danger.
Lead on.
No.
And he opens up the door and starts to walk down. It's pitch black in here, but he does not seem to mind.
Nor does Corvus.
No. And as he heads on down, it leads you into what's clearly the basement down here. And rather immediately, you can see the heavy wrought cage that's down here that seems to have shackles running from chains into it. Here is where I spend at least one night every month.
I did wonder how that is for you.
So you've noticed or
Sorry
heard
to say,
rumour?
I can see you.
That doesn't sound extra creepy.
Oh, it is kind of you not to make a remark.
I figured you had your reasons, as do I.
I have spent a large part of my life with this affliction, they call it. And for a large portion of that, I struggled with the ideas of what kind of monster I am. How less human it made me. But, and he sort of walks over to the cage and he just sort of lays his hand on its bars. I found that beyond the thirst that overtakes me on that night, I'm the same person. No matter what has been changed about me, what I choose to do, how I choose to spend my time, find me far more than the beast within. I help people. I guide people. I am not a monster. No matter what those who would say otherwise think.
Something about that.
Of course.
Was it your choice?
No, it was not. Before I was a priest, I was a soldier. Order control, that kind of thing. You know, the great woods, the centre here.
Mm.
The one-tamed land still needs a lot of guarding. And there are frightful things in those woods. I was the only survivor of my unit when we were making a routine patrol to clear back the woodland which creeps ever forward. It was not my choice to be bitten. It was not my choice to be made into this. At the time, I thought it had stolen the lives of my comrades and stolen something more from me. He got to die human. I would not.
Thing is, I know, I think, I understand what I am,
An understanding is good.
but I don't understand what side of the coin that falls. Because you said that I didn't have a soul or something was troubling me, and come to realize that, yes, I don't have a soul because I never was one with one. I am a creation.
I didn't know that Father Ted said you didn't have a soul. I
So
thought
Father Ted didn't know.
Father Ted,
Yeah.
that was Dadriel was saying you
That
have
was
like
Dad's
a
rule.
blackness.
Yeah. Blackness.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, all
Father
he
Ted
said-
was getting antsy, though.
Father Ted was getting antsy because you were acting sus as hell.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
You were like, I am a priest that worships
redo
nobody.
this. Yeah, I'm a priest that worships nobody. Yeah. Redo this. I was told that something was missing. I was darkness, empty inside. There's been interactions where souls were required. And I was left behind because of it. Seemed the Gifton knew about it and was going to eventually get around to telling me, but a lot of things have happened. And I don't fault her for that. She's very busy and strives to make things better for everyone.
You,
But I don't have a soul. I never had one. So that's the question. I am a copy of something. But that copy, I don't know what that copy is anymore. I thought it was me. But lo and behold, I
No.
find out that it's not me. It's something else. And the thing that is me is standing before you.
then you are you.
Yeah.
There is a lot of theological debate about what happens to something without a soul. It's not the first occurrence. There have been many arguments about things such as simulacra or, even those that have had their souls taken from them and still continue to function and think. Is that what has happened to you?
I think I know where I'm going when this is all said and done.
Are you scared?
No. I'm just have questions. Questions that need answers. And that's what I've been my whole life. Questions and finding answers to things. But it seems like every time I find more answers, a lot more questions come to fruition. But that's the nature of knowledge, isn't it?
And it sounds like you're a smart man who is rationalizing this well. And he sort of walks over to you, and he just reaches out and places one of his hands on your upper arm. But I also know that sometimes there is turmoil, and I just want you to know that just because you are different, you are not less.
I don't believe that I'm less because there is conviction in me.
Fiction towards a good cause, I hope.
Yes, but a conviction in me that is no longer present. He holds up that arm that he showed before. Remember, I said that I draw whatever I draw from this in my arm.
Yes.
I despised magic, any nature of it. Yet, here I am, walking around with it in my arm. I'm surprised in myself that I did it, but I understand why now. Because that conviction that I had of hating and despising magic, even though I may be something, everything that was me is still here, but he points to his arm. That conviction.
Yeah. He smiles softly and he actually chuckles a little bit and goes, you know, I used to despise when my father would take me out on hunting trips, long ones that involved camping out. And now there is nothing I would rather do than be out there. To me, it just sounds like you've grown up.
I just accepted that this is how this world works. Because magic has pained every part of my life. But now I am embracing it entirely. Though I am concerned where that conviction that has left, what is it up to? That's the big question right now.
It's one I'm sure you will solve.
I am sorry, Father Tet, for any trouble that this may have brought you in your religious tenets.
You must never apologize for bringing trouble to me. It is what I'm here for. It is my duty.
I do understand those that souls and the spiritual and the religious are very important. And being what I said may have disturbed you in some way. I apologize for that.
This disturbance only comes out of concern. And if you tell me that you are coping, and that you are okay, you have good in mind, then there is nothing for me to worry about, is there? Unless there is no reason for me to be disturbed by you.
There is no reason. I just wanted to say that outside of everyone else, because it seems like that everyone else has just learned that I am what I am, and I don't want to step into that too much.
You have good company.
I know I do.
Oh, then.
I know I do.
Now, I must ask a small favour of you. Don't mention to people that the local Illan priest has a cage in his basement. They might get the wrong idea.
Eyebrow waggle.
No.
And he gives you, it actually gives you a humorful smile.
I don't mean to laugh, but
it was meant to be a joke, so I'm glad you did.
It is a joke, but it's more funny that you're telling me that. Let's just say there's a few skeletons in my closet. Not bad. Not bad. Just I'm medical. I'm a doctor.
Actual skeletons.
Actual skeletons.
Literal skeletons.
Not the walking around type either. Well,
in the case of you,
I should stop talking.
He pats your forearm again and sort of gestures for the stairs and goes, I think perhaps your biggest sin is a clumsy mouth, my friend.
Yes, that is. I like one-on-one conversations. I get more open with things. But you have a good rest of your afternoon. I have some other business to attend to.
As you go up the stairs and he follows, he sort of locks the door behind him and just turns to you again and goes, then I bid you good day. and with the reminder that if you ever need help, I am here. Whether it is help in whatever activities you need, or simply someone to talk to.
Appreciative, Father Ted. I know everyone else greatly respects you, as do I.
Oh, it gladdens me to hear that. And he will.
Though
Mm-hmm.
the dirt in your house does need to get cleaned up a bit. That's just me. He's slowly stepping around.
Much
He's like,
too much nature here. There's nature everywhere.
Wow.
He smiles
Oh,
a little
yeah,
bit
filthy house.
and just sort of guides you out. I'll take that under advisement. He says in a tone that says, I'm not doing anything about it.
yeah, I know. It was meant to be a jab.
Mm-hmm. And he'll see you off.
Okay. And Corvus will head back into town.
Okay.
You can go to the other folks. That's
Which,
all right.
Telday. Uh-oh, Telday's dead.
Yes.
Ah.
Sorry.
Where are we going, Telday?
I'm actually going to follow that Warforged.
Okay, you're going to head over to where you saw him heading?
Yep.
Okay, so you head back out of Father Ted's temple and across the dirt and so on back here. It's not really a field or anything, it's just simply unused land, grass and so on.
Mhm.
But as you approach, keeping an eye out, it becomes quickly apparent where this Warforged is by the fact that they are out front, tending to their own little garden. Looks like they have a very small, rundown little house here. But yeah, you want to go over to them?
I will go to there.
Okay, you'll go to that place. Yeah, you head on over, and you're trying to be sneaky, or you're just walking normally?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just.
Hearing your footsteps approaching, they'll stop what they're doing, standing up. Seems they've put on their own little apron where they've got some tools stashed in it, and it feels very much like Father Ted's own actions as they brush their metallic hands against their own body, which doesn't so much wipe the dirt off of them. But as you come over, they incline their head a little bit and just go, "Oh, hello."
Greetings. I wish to introduce myself. I am Tilde.
I'm aware. You are rather well known.
Oh.
And they, in a very natural movement, they just sort of do this quick sort of shuffle about as if remembering that they should be introducing themselves, wiping their hands a little more readily now on their apron before they reach it out to you, and just goes, "I am Morose."
An
Oh,
interesting
what a
name.
sad name.
It is nice to meet you.
The
I will
saddest of names.
Take his hand.
No, my name is Steve.
It's a name that I found fitting. It is a pleasure to meet you as well. What do I do to deserve the kindness of your visit?
I am always happy to meet others, to learn more. It is best to discuss.
You do this for each of the Warforged?
Not yet.
Well then.
I am trying.
And they sort of look around as if unsure what to do.
Do not worry. This is merely an opportunity to converse.
I see. I have some refreshments that I tend to offer to those that visit, but I don't think you need them.
It is appreciated, but unnecessary.
Then what conversation would you like to have?
How you are doing. If there is a way that I can help.
I am doing a little better now. I am getting by in the days.
Are you involved with others?
No, not really. Beyond some of the people around here, My neighbour is very kind, as is Father Ted. But
Is this your preference?
yes, seeing the others, the other Warforged, and they sort of look at you. You can tell it's an intense stare, despite the lack of visible eye walls to show it. They are a reminder.
Of?
What I am.
Do you not wish to be?
Of course not, no.
Tell me about what you want.
I want to forget what I am and just get on with things and tend to my plants. The plants help.
Do you have other memories?
I have memories of running through the woods. I have memories of bubbling brooks. Beautiful skies. I have memories of friends and laughter, and they are gone. The plants remind me of them, and they actually turn away and they start kneeling down again and starting to tend to these plants.
I am sorry that I am causing you pain.
This is not your fault. What of you? Do you remember?
I have had moments.
And even as you're answering, you hear them starting to laugh to themselves a little under their breath.
Is something funny?
It seems to be all we ask each other when we meet. Every time I see another Warforged, do you remember? What do you remember of yourself? This is talk of memories and dreams and what we have left behind.
It appears that we have not left it behind.
No. But that is how things are. This life now.
If there was another way, what would you do?
They pause in the digging and they just seem to look up at the sky. I would go home.
I believe it has been said that one cannot go home. That both they and the place will have changed.
What a terribly cruel saying that is.
I unfortunately have not found it inaccurate.
And as I said, this is what it is now. I will make my own home here.
I apologize again for disturbing you.
You have nothing to apologize for. I am sorry that I am not better company.
That you must never apologize for. You are who you are. It has been an honor.
Did you hear about Orphan?
Has something happened?
No. Best not share if you have not heard.
Isn't Orphan the one that committed suicide? I can't remember from my notes.
Were you close?
No.
Have you considered following that path.
At the beginning, I did. But I have something else now. And when they say that, they actually sort of reach out and they sort of brush the petals of one of the flowers in front of them.
That is good. I have heard that a love of nature is admirable.
It is comforting, if not admirable.
If I can ever provide assistance, pass a message on to me, and I will attempt to do so.
They just nod a little bit. Thank you for your visit.
Thank you for allowing me. Perhaps we shall meet again.
Perhaps. Good evening to you.
We'll nod and back away and leave.
And as you leave, you can just hear them starting to till soil again, dig things up, plant these new bulbs they have. Where are we going now, Telday?
I guess I'll look at those cards that I got.
Okay, this one's a foil. Not a rare, just a common foil.
Man.
But this one,
Yeah, bolt door.
it's an
Enchantment?
uncommon. If you tap it, you get to visit a warforged.
Oh my.
Yes, you have a card that is one is addressed to Lord, and the other is addressed to Monotone.
I'm going to go to where Monotone would be.
Okay, right. So you journey through the city, having to check street names and so on, but you will find yourself down here.
Ooh. Okay.
Looking around, you find the address. You kind of have to go by the building surrounding it to find which one this is, as it's not actually the building. The building itself doesn't have the number marked on it. But you can tell by context clues. The lights seem to be on, and
It's drawn slightly differently. Oh. Sorry, I watched too many 1970s and 80s cartoons.
It's gonna move. And as you approach, you can hear what sounds like to be one long violin note, which stops and then is repeated, coming from inside.
Oh. One might even say a singular note.
Indeed.
Yes. I will go to the door and then knock on it.
You knock on it, and as you do, you hear that note just go as if someone has been startled while bowing across the violin. But after a moment, there are heavy footfalls, and the door is opened by a warforged that is basically robed. It's worked in much plating as the front is open, but they have this long flowing gown that is over their body, and sort of a mix of vibrant reds and purples, creating a shimmering pattern, almost silken.
I apologize if I have disturbed you.
Oh, no apology needed. Please, come in.
Thank you.
You are Telday, are you not?
Affirmative.
Would you like something to mime, drinking, eating?
The thought is appreciated, but unnecessary.
And they actually just put this violin up on a stand that is actually mounted above the fireplace here. gesture for you to sit yourself in one of the couple of little armchairs in here, as they sit down in the other one. What brings you to visit me?
I have questions that it is best to speak to our people, but there are so many.
May I ask
Certain
who
are
directed you to me?
The military knows of you. They have
Ah,
heard that you
of
are
course.
influential.
Yes, they would be keeping tabs like that. Well, are you here on military matters?
Not exactly.
I hope you understand that it does change the tone of the conversation.
I shall endeavor to lay out the situation, and we shall decide where to go from there.
Oh, please, and they just sort of lay back in the armchair a bit, gesturing at you with one hand to go on.
The one who is responsible for our creation has been captured.
Oh, really now?
Indeed. And the one who claims domain over our previous existence wishes him.
Oh. A creature from where we came from?
Affirmative.
That's interesting. What are they going to do?
They wish to torture the creature.
I can't say it's entirely undeserved. It's a bit barbaric.
Yes, I cannot say I do not feel the same way.
Wanting to see him pay, but, well, there are certain lines, right?
Exactly.
So, it sounds like we're not involved.
That is part of why I have come.
What are you looking for? My opinion and the thoughts of those that I talk to?
Yes,
Oh. My personal opinion is I'd like to see the bastard hang in a public court. Opinions of others? Oh, mixed. Some don't want to even talk about it. Want to forget the entire incident, move on with their lives. Others, it's all they can fixate on.
and... No, please continue.
I know what I want, but I also think well, trying to say what is best for others is always a dangerous path, but I would hazard a guess.
Please, your opinion will be considered.
I think a court for our people to decide his fate would both be empowering and a dangerous path. I don't want to see us filling with hate or vengeance. And I can't say we would be kind to him. Quite deservedly. I'd like to hurt him myself, which I think is why it might be best if he was just removed from the picture.
Would you tell the others
What, that they have him?
that he was captured and then handed over without their involvement in any decision?
They actually let out a whistling tone that is quite familiar to the notes that they were playing on the violin. And you see them sort of crossing their arms over their chest. Well, that's question in itself. I think it might cause one of those feared uprisings. Or at least quite a little bit of displeasure and dissent.
And yet, if it were attempted to be hidden,
It's a
and
crime in
was
itself, is it not? Oh, and yes,
There
the
is-
discovery after the fact. I think it's one of those, no good solution situations. And in that
And
case,
yet, here I am.
the only thing that you can do in a situation with no solutions, it is whatever feels the most right, most just. And that is often the truth.
And if it feels wrong to hand him over to be tortured, despite all the pain he committed,
Then, if you feel it is wrong, I suppose you would not do it.
at the risk of further pain, potential war,
Well, then we get into the debate of the one's feelings over the many. Or even lives. Personally, I would rather harm myself and my morals than bring great harm to others. That is a slippery path in itself. What do you think?
I believe justice is important, but to cause further pain unnecessarily, cause war, death, that is an injustice in itself.
Yes. And so you must decide what is the greater justice to be held to.
Will you object to any path I take?
It's not my place to object. Your
But
path is your own.
You have knowledge now.
I choose the selfish path. It is a terrible moral decision you have to make, and I am glad it is not me making it. To note my objection or not would remove some of that decision from you.
Then that matter is decided, I suppose.
In a rather cruel way, perhaps. But I feel that would leave you with a bad first impression of me.
Then I shall have to ask you the other question.
And please.
What do you want for your future?
What do I want for my future? Well, discovery, perhaps. I am trying to find meaning in things. And then, what most people want, really, a comfortable life. For me and those I care about.
Do you remember the past?
Not vividly, no. I remember some music, and one irritatingly pressing note that always goes through my mind. But, beyond that, no, not really.
Do you wish to?
I think that would cause me anguish, and I don't like anguish. Besides,
If you could go back,
to the Fae,
if you could go back, would you?
I don't think I would, no. I like this, and they gesture around them. I like my chairs. I like my instruments. I like the people here. The stories of the Fae, they're full of contradictions, full of love and wonder and vileness and cruelty. I don't want to experience that. No, I hope you don't take that opinion as a generalization for all of us. There are no small amount that would like to return, no small amount that would like to forget, no small amount that are undecided.
Yes, that has been the experience I have found so far. I have not been able to talk to many about this, but rarely have I had agreements.
Just like any other race, right?
And yet the question may be posed.
Are you posing this in a consideration of it being possible?
I do not know if it is, but some have suggested it may be.
Oh, in that case, the only answer could be found through putting out a call in general, letting each choose for themselves, no?
There is still a question of cost and the veracity.
There is always cost to everything. Oh. If it is possible, even hypothetically, do you want me to start asking people? I think some of the answers might change based on the reality of the situation. It's easy to be wistful, but something being real can be a frightening deterrent.
Conversely, I am not sure that I wish to spread false hope.
Hmm. A difficult decision. When to put hope on the platter. There are a lot of us that could use hope. Also not.
For now, can you gauge general belief without prying what you hear, what appears to be expressed?
Of course. Seems to be what I do.
Then for now, I shall continue to look into the claims that have been made. If they appear plausible, fruitful, we shall have to continue our discussion.
Well then, I will keep my ear to the ground, and next you come see me, I shall fill you in.
Just the single note, you say?
Yes, it's quite vexing. Been trying to nail it, but it's hard to replicate.
It is not from an instrument?
None that I recognize. But this has been closest a sort of gesture to the violin on the mantle.
And that is what I interrupted.
Yes. Aggravates my neighbours to no end. I'm sure they are glad for the interruption. Oh, it is my own mild obsession. Perhaps it's my way of coping with things. I don't know.
What is the name you have taken for yourself?
I took a name that others started to use for me. It felt fitting. If what are names if not how others recognize us anyway? And monotone.
I had heard the name. I was hesitant to use it without confirmation.
I think it was meant as somewhat of an insult, but I don't know. I quite like it. My friends called me Mono.
Because you spread all around. It has been an honor to meet you.
It's not a problem until you make direct contact.
Oh, the pleasure's
It's
been
all
all
those
mine.
Warforged dances.
Please do feel free to come back at any time. If you want, say, more group feel for things, I suggest that you check out one of the meetings. I'm more just someone come by to visit now and then. I make friends with everyone.
It is an important role.
Perhaps.
Thank you for your time.
Any time, Talday. And they get up and just sort of gestures politely towards their door, as if I'll lead you out.
It's a good thing that he's Warforged saying that, because otherwise it'd show up at like 2 in the morning in front of your door.
And he leads you to the front door and just bids you a good night, inclining their head.
Mhm.
All day goes to camp outside James's house again.
James, I've spoken to many other Warforged.
We are going to leave you there, but I'd like to know where you want to be going next anyway.
Gonna go for the
You're going to go,
other-
Lord? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see Lord.
Okay. Back at the airship. Back at the airship.
Well, guess we're gonna get dinner.
You're going to get dinner. Anything you guys want to do beyond, eating?
Jack
I
is
got
probably
to
going
take
to.
care of the bird, so I'm whistling for the bird and we're going for a ride.
Okay, you're stretching out her wings a bit.
Mm.
Yes, considering she's stuck in the hold.
I mean, you can always just tie her in there.
What were you saying, Shaxton?
Jack should be going around starting to discuss with the internet, seeing what needs to be repaired, and starting to try and help where he can.
Okay, in
And
that
if they end up, if they do end up at any point not needing his help, he'd retire to his cabin and start reading.
frankly, they can do with your help at any point. They've still got quite a few repairs to go through, so you can help speed those up if you so wish.
Yeah, he'll start helping with that.
Right, it's rather they're not in a hurry. This isn't a combat situation, so you can just get these going. You don't need to do much for them. Right, Kadek, you gonna cook food for people?
Yes.
Okay, you want to go ahead and give me a wonderful cook's utensils roll? Okay, you cook up a decent meal. Well, it might be a bit disappointing to those that are used to, the Carrick standards. And it's
7.
it's perfect.
Carrick, are you feeling alright?
This is raw!
Yeah, 19 could be raw.
Yeah, Carrick, are you feeling alright?
It's comparatively raw.
I'm thinking I might head home for the inn, spend the night there unless I am needed here.
Alright. That's fine.
I can.
It's just, you didn't make the little flowers that you usually make with my
I like these little flowers.
I like it when you make the little flowers. This is what I call a 19 for Carrot. He didn't make my garnishes look adorable. I also like it when you make me the little teddy bear.
She needs her hot dogs made into little octopuses, you see.
Yes, I do.
He didn't make the pretty bento box.
You didn't make the pretty bento box today. Do you need help getting there? Oh, you've got it.
I can get there, and I've got that new spell to come back.
Of course, yeah. You go right ahead.
Meanwhile,
Wait, no, yeah.
Dingus is shaking his head furiously because the yolk of his fried egg is off center.
Yes. Stop it.
Shameful.
Tisk, tisk, tisk,
Doesn't matter, it's cooked
happened to you,
perfectly.
Carrick?
Off center yolk.
He also doesn't have that little leafy green bit with the smiley face on it. Dingus always pulls that off anyway and just goes bleh.
But he likes pulling it
You
off.
see, the problem is Dingus kept doing that, so Carrick decided not to this time.
This is like, you didn't
Eric's
put
like,
the that's the thing, is you're
"Need
19, is you didn't put the extra effort in. You're noticing.
It's a really nice meal, but where's the little bits?
Yeah, where's the little bits of, you know.
It's good, but it's not that extra bit.
Why didn't you cut my toast to look like a butterfly? What the hell?
Why is this cut straight and not diagonal? There's a less sandwich now.
We have expectations of Carrick. They're very high.
Unless anyone else wishes to,
No, you,
can...
go right ahead. I guess everyone's kind of doing their own thing tonight, I guess.
we could spend the night. Talia
Yeah.
again.
Give your wife a hug for me.
I will. You sure you don't want? Well, you can.
Yeah. I'll do my own thing. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I've got family to bother anyway.
Your family there.
Yeah, family everywhere.
Looks
Okay.
out window. There's my new lizard folks.
Okay, so you're going home, Carrick?
Yes, I'm gonna use my teleport circle.
Okay. Right, you go home. Guards let you out of the, teleport circle and beacon. You are assailed by a wife who's very glad to see you.
And promptly has a couple of Fennecs thrown at me probably afterwards.
Screeching. Certain Blink Dog is not pleased with his new siblings.
Aww.
He just likes to lay
make
down,
loud
and they keep
noises.
like doing the biting at paws. Come play.
Come play disappears up in the air.
Mhm.
Makes it worse.
He's only a year old. He's still
Yeah,
has all
he
that
wants to play
teenager
still.
energy. But when he
Oh.
wants to sleep, though, he is cranky.
Uh-huh.
Fennec
Okay.
never sleeps.
What about you, Gifton?
I'll make when I get home, by the way.
What are you doing?
Cooking dinner when I get home.
Oh.
Wow.
The same shit.
There's a moment where Talia's eating his dinner, and then she just goes, "Where's the little
So
dragon?"
with this group, is that considered a fail? With me, is that considered a fail?
Unfortunately,
No.
not.
Oh,
No.
it's a
I want
12
to
plus
burn
12,
another
no.
sorcery point. It's a 7, Sam.
You rolled an
It's a
8.
7.
You
It's
rolled
a,
an 8 twice.
it's a 7. It's not even an 8.
Oh, is it? I don't know.
Yeah, he
You,
has a plus 12.
Oh yeah, I didn't do math right. I just was briefly going blah
If
blah
I-
blah blah blah.
If I was a
blah.
better rogue, that would have.
yeah, you need to. I can't roll beneath 10 feet.
Yeah.
That's actually was the original plan.
Well, you
I don't
apparently
know.
disappoint your wife when you go home.
I mean, I'll
Hopefully
be honest.
only in cooking.
I'll be honest. I was very tempted to actually use the standard inspiration on that. I'm like, no, I'll get made fun of even more for that than usual.
No, you're getting made fun of for.
No,
rolling
she just tells
19
you that you need to make it up for her in bed.
Oh, that's where she's gonna
Okay.
ask for the little dragon.
Oh.
Oh, that was terrible.
So the dragons pop up, thinking it's them, ruin the night.
I mean,
Gifton's gonna after Carrick leaves, kind of go around and she's gonna briefly open up the door to Cassie's room, which
Mhm.
is vacant,
check on our little kobold friend.
and yeah, I mean, I'm assuming Taldi is around.
Taldi is actually helping with the repairs. So you do see her as you sort of heading up to Cassie's. She's wearing what looks like to be some ill-fitted overalls that have clearly been, repurposed for her. And she is like sort of halfway, waist deep into one of the walls, paneling off.
Oh, looks like she's having a good time.
Uh,
I'll leave her alone.
Well, if you're walking by, there is a little thump as she pulls her head out and catches her horns on the inner wall a bit before glancing up at it and going, "Oh, hello,
Hi, are you doing all right here?
yes, I'm so kobolds don't tell colors that good.
Oh,
Which one of these is red? And she holds up to you a green and a blue wire.
neither.
Ah,
This one's green. This one's blue.
oh dear. Okay. Thank you. And
You know what might help? I've got some. I'm gonna pull out of my bag. I've got like a bunch of paper and like a little bits of like and a jar of honey. Or I actually have a little thing of glue. And I'll go, what you can do?
why do we have ads on the airship?
And I'll go, well, why don't you have somebody who can see the colors really well write the color on this thing, and then you just make little paper tabs and you just wrap it around the wire so you can keep track.
Oh, that's a really good idea. Could you mark these ones?
Yeah, I'll mark them real quick.
Okay, so you mark those green and blue.
Yep, and I'll make little paper tabbies that pull around it for her. And go, okay, there you go. And I go leave her the paper and go, all right, good luck.
And thank you.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna go look over at Cassie's room really quick, kind of have a sad moment, close that up, and then I'm gonna go tree travel somewhere because Carrick left me.
Why the fuck not?
Carrick's gone. Carrick's gone.
Where would you like to go?
Offered to take you. Wow,
Shax is busy.
That was a voice. In
I'm not
that.
hanging out with
Are
the
you traveling to Heveros's tree?
You hired him to do.
Actually, no. I'm traveling to the tree outside Tarnstead.
Okay.
The tree.
Oh,
The
the tree. Okay. Right. In that case, yes, you appear. It's basically within her domain. It's not at her house.
Yeah, it's in my property line.
Yeah. You appear within your property at the brownie tree.
Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna go and chillax next to that for a little bit and try to think.
Okay.
I'm gonna spend my time.
Okay. Do you head back, or are you gonna spend the night there?
I'll see what Dingus wants. If Dingus thinks we need to head back, we'll head back. Otherwise, I'll spend the night there.
Dingus sort of meets you a bit, and you see him looking up at the tree, and then you just get that little headcan of stories.
Okay, I will spend the night telling him stories.
Okay. Yeah, Dingus is happy to spend the night there with you. Right. But Corvus.
Corvus has made his way to the library.
Okay, right. Going to the library.
They're closed.
They are actually closed at this time.
Nothing is closed for me, Slice.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get in, you can get in. What are we doing, Corvus?
He contemplates getting in and then goes to Lady Gentle's estate.
Okay. Right, you head into Lady Gentle's estate.
Ooh, booty call.
Yeah. You arrive there, and you go ahead and do the old knock. And she actually opens up the door and quirks an eyebrow in surprise. And oh, Corvus, what are you doing here?
I have some questions to ask.
Is this quick questions, or is this over dinner questions?
If it's not too imposing.
Please, come in. And she will lead you in, and it looks like she just has a single chair pulled up at the table, but she goes out and she actually brings in another plate for you. And I was just cooking up a stew. I hope that's fine.
That is fine.
And she actually just brings the whole pot out and sets it on, wooden thing, center of table. Make sure don't burn table.
Mm-hmm.
And ladles out what looks like to be a mutton stew. Before sitting down, please help yourself. Bread, wine.
Thank you. It's going to be fine.
So, what's the matter?
Hmm. You made mention of some things about a year or so ago, maybe earlier. We've been doing a lot of things. It's been hard to keep track of time. And I'm sure you're having a splendid amount of time doing your own sort of time-related activities. But you mentioned that there was another person with a mask, one that I wore.
Oh yes, yes. The reports suggesting there was someone dressed awfully like you.
Mhm.
Indeed, yes, I did say that.
Did you ever follow up on that individual?
Not so much. Had more pressing matters. It also seemed to stop cropping up after a certain point, so just sort of let the matter rest.
And these cropping ups of this individual, were they relative to this time? Just locations?
Indeed.
You didn't give me those the last time we spoke about them. Would you happen to recall where those locations were?
Of course. I've got them written down actually. Give me a moment.
Of course.
Right, and she gets up and moves over to a cabinet nearby. Actually,
Runs away.
she starts to dig through, and there she is, Corvus.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Fucking knew it. You know, I have this ability of casting things of purify food and water, but never really thought to use it.
Why would Corvus do that? He wouldn't ruin his food and water with magic.
I know, right?
Okay, Corvus is sort of eating your meal, and you're watching her root through things, and you notice she's not really searching. Like, she's just shuffling things about, and as you think that, there is a sudden wooziness that goes over you. Your head starts to feel light. Things start to blur.
I can do something.
Yeah, you're still conscious.
Okay. Well, you know, spell lists are real nice, but you can only compare certain things.
Ha! I say in former warlock.
I go, ha, as a sorcerer. I go quiet now.
He will go and put his fork and spoon down, kind of lean back a bit, kind of making a show of it. And you know, you have to try a bit harder to deal with somebody who has experience with poisons and the like. Lady Gentle.
There is a pause, and the shoulders sag.
Whole person.
You're doing whole person?
Yep.
Okay. I need you to make me another Constitution saving throw when you go to cast that.
Oh.
Better. You go to cast, and as you feel that magic welling up, there is a sudden spasming through your arm as the Lady Gentle turns to face you, Not poison. Not poison at all. Although I understand fairly well that you are quite resistant to my duplicate.
And okay, they said mine.
Mine duplicate.
Mine.
Bum, bum.
Oh no, Lady General's been replaced with Corvus.
And they walk back over to the table, taking a seat across from you again. I was hoping to take you alive, learn a little from you. But if that will not incapacitate you... And you see them reach into their coat pocket. It will hurt her very much to do this to you. But needs must. And they are pulling out a revolver.
The magic was the spell consumed.
The slot was not consumed.
The slot was not consumed.
What are you going to do, Corvus?
Corvus is going to stand up and roll his arm a bit and cast this on himself.
Well, you go to stand up, Corvus, and the chair sort of stumbles away from you as you knock it back accidentally, and it is hard to stand. Something feels very wrong. Doesn't feel like a poison coursing through you. It feels like shards growing within you. You want to try casting that?
Was the shards the motion of standing?
Um,
Or the shards
just-
the beginning of
just
incantation?
in general, you've been feeling this weird discomfort within you, and it's like there's almost a sharp stabbing pain accompanying this feeling of sapped energy.
Yeah, he's going to cast it. I mean,
Okay, right, give me another Constitution saving throw, please.
oh, okay. What card do I have? Immediately re-roll.
Okay.
Take the card.
Right. Okay, I will take this card from you. Oh,
Okay.
right. Cool. On table. Right. You go to cast, and your vision blurs more. You're having trouble even focusing on this figure in front of you now, and that stabbing pain increases, and it almost makes you want you to throw up what you've just eaten. And you feel that magical energy does not operate how it should. It does not get expelled. It just seems to course back through your body. And you hear Lady Gentle's voice going, "Ugh, see myself using such filthy things."
Well, we wouldn't have to be using such filthy things if you didn't decide to separate. Or whatever you did. Why?
I needed you running around. It was easier to work my way through things. My friends were soft. They were not doing what needed to be done. I hope you realize there is nothing personal here. And you hear the sound of the revolver being cocked.
So I'm useless now, am I?
Not useless. A threat. And we deal with those, don't we?
We've been dealing with those. Those that are more tied to things happening to everyone, just ourselves. We've had plans to do things, yes. It seems that you wanted things done a little quicker and did not have any care or concern for those around you, which is what we had.
Care and concern will not save the world from the scourges befalling it.
What scourge is this now? The dragon? We're dealing with that too. Without you.
The dragons are just a symptom of something greater. The gods and magic, all of it. I am working towards our freedom from all of these things. You should be happy you are serving a greater purpose.
You should know I don't serve. He falls into the empty.
Okay.
Or slices into the empty.
Alright, I want you to make me a dexterity roll. I'm going to see how quickly you do this.
Dexterity roll.
Yeah, just a straight dex.
Straight dex. Eesh.
Okay. Damn, that's a D10. 1 second. There's my D20. Okay. Corvus, you quickly slice the empty, slicing that hole into the empty, throwing yourself through it. As you do, you hear a gunshot go off. What is your AC?
16.
16. Okay. It does hit you.
Yeah.
As a quick intercept, aren't you wearing that new mage weave?
Nope.
I haven't put on yet.
Nope. Because we've been doing thing one after the other, so I haven't had the chance to.
Shaxon, do me a favor quick and just hit a revolver button so we can get damage.
Yep.
No, I got that too.
Oh, you got that too? Oh, go ahead and hit that for me then. Yeah.
Just a normal revolver?
Yep.
Okay. I think that's normal revolver. Yeah.
Okay, and right, so we are going to do that 9. But I'm going to up the damage by 3 points.
It should if he's not using a magic one, it should technically be 14 because I'm pretty sure that revolver is either faith or fall.
He is using something.
Okay.
He is using something in particular. This will do fine. I just did not expect to be using it yet, so I haven't finished.
Just saying, just in case, because I was very certain because it has a magic damage on that.
Yeah.
You feel a bullet grazing your arm as you tumble into the empty.
Okay.
Alright. Corvus, you look around in the empty. You cannot make out the lines. Everything is fuzzy. Everything is going in every which direction.
Spell list not helping. Okay.
Remember, you're gonna blind panic. The other you might come through that hole you just opened. You need to take an exit.
Yeah. Corvus is going to isolate place. The Hexenrec facility.
Is that what you're going to try for?
Yeah.
Okay. I would like you to roll me a D100, please.
No.
Are you going to end up underground?
Wait, the Hexenreich facility that was
Hey, which of the two that we
Flying
dealt with?
in the crazy magic field?
The one that hit the water?
Oh yeah.
No, the
Or
The
one
one that
was
got
by the
buried by Hea?
He doesn't know it got buried by Hea. He wasn't.
Oh
there.
yeah,
He was
he
already gone.
yeah.
Good luck.
Okay, right. Oh, well done. You have avoided time traveling accidentally. Uh, you quickly claw your way through the empty, running in a dash, unable to hear with this pursuit. Your senses overwhelmed, and you slice your way through, hoping that you're going in the right direction, and you tumble out. And you feel water embracing you. Surrounding you.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the oasis that was made.
Yeah.
Perception to look around. Where is light coming from?
Corvus, you cannot see.
I can't fucking see light.
You can't see more than like 60 foot in a direction. Wow. This
I
is gonna be
know.
great for you.
It
You
is.
got water breathing? Oh, you can't probably.
I don't have vocal.
Even if you did, you couldn't do the vocal because you're underwater. Yeah, that's fucked.
What are you gonna do, Corvus?
Only thing you can do is go back to the empty.
Okay, so it feels sluggish, slow, not just because of the water slowing you, but your free movements feel arrested somehow. But you're able to cut open another hole, and you are pulled in this time as the water surges through.
That's where I've been curious.
This is where all the liquid in the empty comes from.
That's where I was like, does water pass through?
And you find yourself tumbling into the empty. You are able to gasp for air as you are basically released out.
He's gonna just collect himself for a minute or two.
And as you're sitting there, you hear footsteps. That little splish, splosh through the empty.
He's coming for you.
Coming up from behind you. Do you want to turn? What are you going to do? You're going to move.
He turns.
Turn. What you see is not Corvus coming for you in Lady Gentle's body, or Corvus in his own body. You see a robed figure coming towards you, their hood drawn down over their face.
And who might you be?
They lift their head, and as they do, you can see your face reflected.
Oh, Maris.
And they reach out a hand towards you, as if offering to help you up.
Or is this down on his own?
And they just let their hand fall to their side.
Sorry. Kind of hard to gauge things right now.
And they tilt their head a little bit, and they gesture towards your bleeding arm.
Take care of that.
And they raise up a hand, and they just sort of waggle their finger at you in a sort of gesture. And then they just sort of point down at your stomach.
Well, magic is fickle. I don't have that spell at the moment. But I have a traditional way of solving. He'll
Starts to vomit into the empty.
he'll
They clutch their hands in front of their chest, and their entire posture takes on that sort of mock sympathy look. Before they just gesture at themselves questioningly.
Does Corvus have any vague idea who this figure is?
It looks an awful lot like the figure that helped repair the magic on the airship.
I didn't see that.
I saw that. He didn't see it.
Yeah, you have no idea then.
Okay.
It looked like the iconography of
You can
Mirror.
tell the group at least.
I explained what Mirror looked like to you.
Yeah.
Or what I,
Yes.
I'll give him pretty good
There's the
definition
mirrored
for that.
mask rings the bell,
Yeah.
Corvus.
yeah.
Sorry, collecting myself. Maris,
They suddenly put their hands up as if in shock and start looking around behind them, turning and gesturing at themselves as if in surprise.
What,
you
me?
make a very, very good mine.
Did
When you say that,
it makes a mine?
Mime.
mime. When you say that, they sort of clap a little bit and then they lean sideways as if resting against a wall, and they do without a wall being there.
They're gonna start making you in a box. Then they're gonna start making the box smaller.
Do you not want me to throw up in the empty? Would you like to help?
And they bring their hands up again to their heart and they just bow their head.
Go ahead.
Then they step up to you and they pat your shoulder briefly on that little mirrored mask of theirs. They draw a couple of little tears and make a pained gesture. And then they reach their hands out towards your stomach. And Corvus, it hurts. You feel these shards actually being drawn out through your flesh. You can feel that healing behind them, knitting things back up as you come. But they are being pulled out.
Yeah, it's still basically having glass pulled out of you.
Yes. It does feel like having glass just pulled through your flesh.
I've had that happen to me physically.
Mhm,
It's
so-
not fun.
Yeah, you know how it feels.
Yeah, this is coming out of your torso.
Yeah, it's a bit more
Yeah.
painful than normal, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's also going through
which-
a lot of very important tissues.
Which I'd like a constitution saving throw, as this is
Alright.
a lot of pain.
Just gonna say, I have a lot of respect for you if you choose to fail.
You don't pass out, but
Exhaustion.
you're probably going to scream.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
won't scream in the microphone.
The lunch
But
is
yes.
on the inside.
Yes.
But then you hear little splosh splashes as these shards fall into the empty waters. And then they just pat your stomach gently, or rather dramatically taking hold of the sides of your arms as if standing you up straight, giving you a firm pat and nodding firmly at you.
Chorus will go back down on one knee,
Why does Miris have to be
Pick
like
up.
that? I love Miris now.
pick up the damn
You're
shards.
already dead.
Oh, the shards are in the water. Do you want to try and route through that water?
Yes.
Okay. All right. It's actually very hard to put your hand through. You reach down and your hand dips into it, and it's like you're feeling resistance.
You
It
push
was
in.
like mine.
You want to push?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, give me a strength check.
Oh, fuck that.
And as you're sort of struggling to push your hand down, you actually see Miris just sort of crouching down beside you, looking down at the water, watching your hand, before he sort of very gingerly reaches his arm down, which sinks into the water. And you see him routing around, and you get the feeling that this is a big show. He's already found what he wants. But then there's the little aha gesture with the other hand, a single finger going up.
Yeah.
And he pulls his hand out and opens it up to you, and there's a couple of these obsidian-like shards in it.
Good.
Curve is
I
like,
needed more of those.
Yeah, one of them is about an inch long, a couple of centimeters wide. The other just a
Oh.
little less.
Oh. Corvus will kind of rest on the back of his heels, hold out his hand. Do you mind?
And they just still make a gesture of go ahead.
He would take him and put him in his satchel with the other one.
And
Arrow.
when you do that, he sort of scoots around beside you and sort of lifts you up with him, one arm going around your shoulders in far more personal contact than you like. And as he does, he starts to gesture in front of him very dramatically, his arm moving to different locations. And it feels like there should be a speech with this, an oration explaining things, pointing things out. It is like somebody trying to give a story, telling some revelation, and yet there is no sound accompanying it.
Just kind of looks up. Did you ever try telepathy?
Miris' hands reach up, grasping the sides of the hood, as if, my head.
Oh, right. God. Well, there goes those leads.
And they tilt their head at you.
Lady Gentle. Thought maybe answers could be derived from.
And their hand goes up again in another aha gesture. And then they point at you. And then they start to creep. As in, they have their hands held up to their chest, their legs lifting in very dramatic, sneaking fashion, glancing about, sneaking more. And then they reach into their coat pocket, into their robes, and they pull out a jar. And you can see this little writhing creature within the jar. It looks like a cross between a grub and a millipede. It's got these little bony protrusions coming out the sides of it that wriggle about, and it continues creeping about with this jar. And then it points forward, and then it hurries over to the spot where it pointed, and it takes up a posture, and you see it drawing goggles onto this mask, like this mirror-like mask it has, trying to mimic Lady Gentle, facing away from where it just creeped from, unknowing. And then it hurries back over, resumes the role of this creep that it pointed to you. It opens up the jar, pulling out this insect, and it creeps up to the spot where it's mimed Lady Miris, and it puts it towards about neck level. And then it hurries back into that spot, and it clutches the back of its neck, and then stumps forward, and then straightens up. It points between itself and you.
It's fascinating.
Like you have
If I got that right.
almost communication without talking. Amazing.
If I got that right. That was Lady Gentle, but just being manipulated by that thing that I put on her.
The bug and jar vanish, apparently an illusion, and then it claps, moving from either side of its head to the other, applauding you.
Thank you. Gifton will get a kick out of you.
And it just sort of clutches its heart and nods a little bit. And then it just gestures at you and starts to walk through the water, sort of almost skipping, dancing every now and then, just doing a kick up, which sends the surface of the empty spraying about. You want to follow?
Yeah, of course we'll follow. Not the kicking and jumping, but follow.
And then it reaches a spot and just sort of gestures in the air and does a very dramatic sword pull from its waist without any sword and swipes down at that spot, and the empty splits. And it just gestures at the hole to you.
I thank you, Maris. I'm probably not the best one for this, but I imagine there will be many questions concerning, and I don't really know what questions to ask to you. But I do appreciate your help. You
And
like this charade? Do you want it to continue?
he glances about as if taking in his surroundings before just gesturing you closer.
Come closer. Not close, but steps closer, yes.
Corvus level of close. So
Oh, but
And-
chorus level close.
A millimeter.
Definition.
Yeah. And yeah, Miris actually reaches out, placing their arms on your shoulders and pulling you in close, facing away from them, doing that ever so dramatic, taking up position behind you. And they lean in. And they go,
shove you through the hole.
all plays must end. And they shove you through the hole.
And stumbles forward.
Okay. You land in sand in the desert of Sahar. Incredibly disturbed sands. And you just see sort of Hadwin sitting amidst the sands. There's
What
a-
the fuck you are?
It's like an abandoned droid on
Yeah.
Tatooine.
The sand has actually built up around his legs a bit.
Get up.
Hadwin sort of gets up, and you see sand like pouring out of various little crevices and so on.
Edwin doesn't like sand.
Did you have a good break?
Hadwin does not answer, not understanding this question.
Knowledge is power, and Hadwin don't know shit.
Where's the building?
Hadwin raises their arm and just points down.
They're made of like 10 people. It still has only 2 brain cells.
Okay. Well, that defeats the purpose of camping out then. Yes.
What are you doing, Corvus?
How to say, I don't know if this is something too little to ask of you, but can you send a message to everyone in the Tarnstead Trading Company? Lady Gentle is compromised. Do not trust her. Do not go to her for any reason. Also, if you see me, do not trust me.
That's a really weird thing to ask me.
No.
And
Hi.
as Hay is standing off to your left, her arms crossed, looking a little confused. I mean, you have a magic sword that lets you go places, right? Or magic arm
I
at this
don't
point.
know if it works right now. I haven't tested that.
So instead, you want to use a god as a messenger.
to go the other way, Corvus. Gosh.
I don't. It was in dire warning,
Who do you want to see?
to be fair. It would be nice to get back to the airship.
And she marches up to you, like her fists are clenched at her sides, her feet stomping through the sand. And as she comes up in front of you, she reaches her arm up and flicks your forehead. And then you find yourself stumbling onto the deck of the airship, and you hear the thump of Hadwin landing beside you.
Hadwin guard the deck.
Or Hadwin didn't deserve that treatment.
Hadwin glances around and then just moves over to where the gangplank is and stands there, sand still trickling from him.
Never mind.
He's guarding!
I know, he was going to say something, but he thinks it's best not to. He's going to go below deck.
Insult your mindless automaton.
Who's here? Hello?
Towdy pops out of one of the walls and goes, I'm here!
Hi, Taldy.
Can you show me which one of these is red?
Have you seen the others?
Yes, I saw Miss Glaysdale.
Do you know where she is now?
No?
Jack's somewhere on the ship.
I think the Lion Man is off flying.
Oh,
I think Shaxon is about, but I don't know where.
okay. Carrick?
I don't know where he is either.
This is awesome. Okay. Saxon!
Shaxon, you can actually hear the sort of yells sort of muffled through the halls.
Jax will look up from the thing he's working on, calmly put away his screwdriver and go and see what's up.
Also, how's Igni doing?
Igni is doing good, although I don't know what they are right now. They were running through the conduits earlier, and they keep sending haha find me.
Hide and seek.
Uh-huh.
And I guess that's why you're in the conduits now, too?
No, I'm just getting things fixed while they think I'm finding them.
Ah. Too good, fun's done.
Yes, they like to think they are a very good hider.
They're not, are they?
Well, I don't know where they are, so maybe they are, but I'm sure I could find them.
All right. Well, thank you, Teddy, and thank you for looking after Igni while we're away.
It's okay, it's very easy. You see Shaxton actually turning a corner.
Saxon. Hi.
Hi,
Sounds
Shaxton!
symptomatic of this. Hello. Have you holding up all of his wires after you were able to get some help with it?
Yes, I now know which is not red.
That is good. If you need any other help, feel free to ask since Miss Portman is not here at this point.
Yes, I will.
You know where she is?
I believe she went back to... No, I could tell she teleported using the tree, so I'd assume she's gone home. Or back to Winden. What is the two?
Oh, okay.
You are one of the ones who has the sending spell, are you not?
Didn't prepare it.
Magic is not a very good topic right now. I don't have it prepared.
That seems like a very foolish action.
It's going to become part of my daily assortment of spells, yes. What sending stones do we all have?
Let's see.
We have the new radio, but I don't know how far that goes, and I don't remember.
Haven't even handed out the parts to it yet. That's the best thing. We got it, and we haven't done shit with it yet.
Jeffling, I do have one to tell day, and I forget, everyone other than Corvus the night before was in range enough I would have been able to set them up with the sending thing from Guermajir, right?
Yes.
I think you did that, yes.
Yes, well, I'd used it on you last time specifically, and you weren't in
right.
range.
Yeah, I'm just going to give it a little pass.
Okay. Also, I was able to from the, he'll just gesture to the gem from old training and the Guermajir things. I do have a connection I can send to them if necessary. What is wrong?
Can you get everyone who's not on the ship?
I should be able to.
Okay. Tell them the other Corvus is doing things, which I did not expect this quickly, but is happening, and I just want to make out a warning. Particularly to tell Dave, because he's still in Vinden. Tell him directly this. If you see me, Corvus, do not approach. Go away. If you see Lady Gentle, do not approach. Go away. They are compromised and not to be trusted. Get to the airship as soon as you can.
I can do that. Just give me a second. And sit there as I'm trying to figure out 25 words.
Yeah.
There we go. That's the message checks. We'll just one by one send out to each person.
Okay, so each of you will receive this. I'm going to send it to Corvus.
You will skip Corvus for obvious reasons, but
No, I like the idea that you
include
send it
him.
to Corvus so he knows that he knows what's got sent.
Just
That way
look
he
him in
knows
the
what to do.
eyes as you do it.
Yeah.
actually, I will send Corvus for one
Power
reason.
move.
It does actually create the open back channel.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's a reason for sending it to. It creates an open back channel.
Thumbs up.
So I'm mildly curious about the logistics. If you're thinking about Corvus, would you be able to detect whether you sent it to the
Which
one
one?
standing in front of you?
Well, this
or
one
if
is,
it would
It has to
go-
be one you're attuned to, so yeah.
This is
the
this is
June
specifically
one,
linked
yeah.
up one. Yep.
Yeah, so this
would designate, so it would have to be our Corvus.
And
Yeah,
check
but what
the
I'm saying is that would also be a way of verifying that that is actually the one that you're talking to.
If the one in front of him just then replied directly and was able to say the words it was replying, yes, you could use that as an identifier. There's no sense of feeling that it's gone to the man in front of you or anything, but it could be used as a method.
It's been sent out and
Say the passphrase or do the callback code.
We may also want to look into something about identifying or giving you a visual identifier so that you are more differentiated from your other stuff. I admit I have not met him, so I don't know if there's one already, but
He looks exactly like me. Well, at least
does he seem more unkempt? Is he keeping a different hairstyle now? These things can matter.
I don't really know because I was conversing with Lady Gentle, proxy
Okay.
of myself. Himself.
Then perhaps it's time for you to make aware adjustments to how you look to make that compensation.
We pondered getting a red arm.
Different hairstyle, making sure you keep yourself clean shaven, things like that. That are
What about
harder
getting
to
normal
consistently
eyes? That
show.
would be great.
Things that are harder to replicate consistently.
T-shirt that says "I love magic."
Since I don't believe we always have the ease of just being able to ask you to try and cast something to be able to have an identifier.
Also, speaking differently.
Speak like you're less like a Hexenriker. Gifton's of course going to respond in a slew of, "Oh no, are they okay? Does she need help? What's going on?"
That sort of rambling train of
Mhm.
Where is this?
And this is open now?
this is
don't
through
know.
Shaxton.
Through
Yeah, it's
section.
basically
Okay.
she gave me a sending back that had that same with the one
Mhm.
Carrick sent back.
Mhm.
In response to me, there'll just be a single word reply of yes. Because he has to do it multiple times. That's it.
Okay. Now,
And given he said he was in Vinden, so as that is the only information I know of it, it'd probably best to ask him yourself to get a better recompense of what it was. Recollection, that's the word. That will be in there as well.
okay.
That brief pause and then recollection, that's the word.
Corvus is going to fiddle with his pockets, pull out the arrow that Gifton gave him, and pull out the shards. Pretty close. Similar?
Pretty close. There's some differences in their structure. Like already you can see that the shard looks a lot more solid. The arrow looks a lot more solid overall. Whereas you can see sort of like slight crystalline structure on the ones that were within you.
Yeah. Oh. You wobbled really hard.
And then re-say the structure of the two verses because you.
The shard is a lot more. The arrow.
Everyone is.
Switch servers.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're wobbling. Your Telday on reboot.
It's everybody is still day on reboot right now.
Yeah.
Hey, that was a great effort.
Right, there we go. Should be back now.
Yep.
Sounds better.
Perfect now.
Right, so the arrow is very solid in construction. The shards have a lot more of a crystalline nature to them. You can actually see crystalline
Something
structuring.
of raw nature to manufactured.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Now I have them in their natural state. That'll be helpful.
Maybe that's a. You may be able to replicate it.
Ready my course. This is so.
What did you say?
The Telday message. Got it. Reverting my Corvus relationship status to factory settings.
Well, Gifton's going to be panically blah 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 blah. I'm gonna hug Dingus, look up at the sky briefly, pat the tree. It was nice while it lasted, and then I'll teleport back to the airship.
Okay. You come up back on deck. The deck is there's quite a bit of sand scattered on top of it, and you see Hadwin now standing at the where the ramp would lower from the sides.
I'm going to draw my bow, looking at Hadwin, looking around. Jax?
Yeah, down below. Since I'm assuming.
Yeah, you can hear that. Yeah.
You hear her yelling
Yeah.
from above, so yeah, Shax would just.
Corvus will also come up.
Oh, Shax wasn't coming up. He was just calling up to her saying
Oh,
down below.
okay.
He wasn't moving.
I'm gonna slowly move down, checking around in case of hostility.
There is Shax and Corvus.
Yeah.
Good.
And Towdy's butt sticking out of the wall.
It's a
Nice
Corvus,
spots.
attack him.
It's a different wall this time, so there's that.
What's going on? I heard there's problems. She's in danger. What's going on?
It'll be better if everyone was here. Do you know the event?
Carrick went home to make up to his wife. Telday.
No Teldays in Vinden. Yeah.
Yeah, dealing with his people.
Is there any way that he can get back here?
I don't know where Louis is.
He's up around flying.
As you hear the
Um,
whoosh sound.
I don't think any of us are intending to cause much trouble tonight. I think it would be safe to be able to reconvene in the morning, would it not? Because we were supposed to at the keep.
I am going to take my
We gotta
sending
go
zone.
back
What
to.
time of day is it over in Winden right now? It's probably getting to the evening.
Mhm.
It was evening when I
I'm
left.
I hit my sending stone up. Hey, brother. Corvus had a run-in with Corvus. Lady Gentle is dangerous. Something wrong with her. I'll leave it that way.
As you get the message back, oh, I'm having dinner with her.
You get the reply back of Dangerous how? We need to take this. Do we need to take her into custody? If not, we'll keep an eye on her. If I don't get a reply, I will assume not.
What's wrong with Lady Gentle? Is she dangerous enough that Raziel should have her taken into custody?
No, she's a proxy. She's being manipulated by Corvus. There is a parasite-like creature that is forcing her to act in his step. Yes.
Gifton's going to give a deeper sigh. And you don't have any sending spells today, do you?
No.
Well, you're gonna watch Gifton cast a very ornate spell. She casts Wish to cast Sending spell.
Shax is actually going to go. Would I tweet a message today and see if he can send a sending to Raziel for?
I've already cast. I'm already into this.
It's catching it before you started.
It's literally a action. It's the same.
Yeah, if you said it before she started, I would allow it, but she started first, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm gonna boom, big light.
That was really.
Brother, she has a parasite that is allowing other Corvus to control her. Attacked our Corvus. Avoid for now. I'll let that be.
Okay. You'll get her. Understood. I'll make sure she's kept under watch. We'll avoid contact.
Alright. Thumbs up. I'm really glad I learned this high level spell. It's very versatile. Sometimes you just wish you could cast something and you can.
The uses of wish.
Also,
Oh no, most of my magic is used in conjunction with this.
Also, I know Tilde gets very upset when I use the spell slots. It's better that I use mine.
it would be better if there's a few of us here, but I think you most important should maybe know this, Gifton. Met Miras. You would love him.
Okay.
He was in the empty when I was having difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
Played a very interesting game of charades. He's a very good mime.
Mm-hmm.
Explained to me what was happening for Lady Gentle. I thought that maybe she had be completely compromised, but maybe it's not the case. Maybe she can still be saved. But
why did he approach you in the empty?
I don't know. But when I was leaving, I asked if he still wanted this raid to continue. The whole hiding behind things, playing the games that he does. I don't follow it completely. It's more your wheelhouse than mine. But for someone without a face, someone without a voice, he leaned into next to me. He said all shows must come to an end.
Oh, that's foreboding as hell.
I know. And I don't know what that entirely means in the grand scheme of things, but I don't think he is going to stay in the shadows for much longer.
Was Lady Gentle chasing you through the empty? Is she running through the empty right now?
No, I went to Lady Gentle's to talk to her about myself, about the things that she's told me in the past, other gentlemen's sites and whatnot, trying to pursue leads.
Yes.
We sat down.
What happened?
We had dinner, asking her questions. She got up. She got up to, air quote, look for things. Something didn't feel right. Sharp pains was in my body. I tried maybe to think that she poisoned me. Wasn't the case. I tried to cast a magic. Magic wasn't working.
Are you okay? I'm gonna put my hand up to your forehead. Do you have a fever? Are you all right?
No. Eventually, Lady Gentle shot me. But I went into the empty, couldn't see
Corvus
anything
looks
in the
soaked,
empty.
by the way. I should point this out. And smells of seawater.
Couldn't see anything in the empty. Try to get to the Hexenreich facility, landed up in the ocean, I guess.
What? Like, okay.
Then went back into the empty, more or less pulled into the empty, and Miris was holding me up, and then pulled these things out of my body. Showing the
Jack's just doing that to him.
Yeah.
Miris healed you?
Yes.
And helped take care of you. Okay.
Yes.
Huh.
Showed me a show. It was very entertaining. But did explain what was at least what my ideas were going on about. Lady Gentle is compromised. She is not. I don't think she is acting on her own will.
Let's glance skyward worriedly for a moment and go. So you were in trouble in the empty, and he came to save you.
Yeah. Also, I contacted Heya and she flicked me in the forehead, and now I'm here.
Really?
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to make it up to Heya somehow.
What did you do to Heya?
I just prayed to her for help.
Heya, what did Corvus do wrong?
there is no reply.
Just another bucket of water appears over his course head and dumps on him.
Really, you did nothing and she just flicked you in the head and dumped you here, huh?
Oh, I was praying to her to tell all of you not to trust me or Lady Gentle and to get back to the airship.
Oh.
Yes, I couldn't do that. I couldn't.
Don't trust me.
You prayed to the goddess to send everyone a message. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would explain it.
Yeah, that would probably. Yeah.
Well, look, I'm trying to make sure everyone is safe. Okay.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's just
You may want to in the future think of better wording than.
I literally just used the wish spell to cast message, so I understand. We make do with the tools that we have. Sometimes we move a mountain when we didn't need to, but I need to get to the other side.
Yes.
All right. So okay. Well, we have to go back there tomorrow. Do you know anything about that parasite?
It's like a grub about yay big, mixed between like a grub and one of the segmented ones, millipede, centipede, and it is at the base of her neck.
Okay.
The thing is, though, is that when I was talking with eventually the guys dropped Corvus was, so it's not like it's her. It was Corvus.
Mm-hmm.
It was his voice. My voice.
Well, assuming he might move her out of location or something like that, since you probably figure if you're not dead, the jig is up on that one. No point keeping it in the decent place who does not need it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have no idea. I don't think I've heard of this bug before.
You can give me a roll if you want.
Yeah, nature, arcana, what do you want?
Let's just do a straight intelligence roll.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes,
sure.
my worst stat. I appreciate.
Would I have known anything about it as
We
well?
can do a straight intelligence roll.
Yep.
Yum. That's pretty good for a
Oh.
nature girl.
Oh, terrible.
No familiarity.
Nope, no idea what this bug is. So it's some
And-
sort of weird mind-affecting creature. Unfortunately, the
Yes.
best person to figure out anything about it is probably going to be James.
Right.
But right now we need to figure out what Corvus is up to.
Corvus
Sorry,
is
Corvus.
up. No, that's fair. Corvus
All right,
is
so
up
shall
to.
we call him, because he is no longer, he's lost his rights to be Corvus, so we'll call him Traitor.
A terrorist.
I like Traitor better, but terrorist works. All right, so null. All right, so
Torque will be unhappy with.
Not Tor, not that null. Null.
Yeah, again, Torque will be unhappy with that.
all right, so
Oh, there was that. That's what you're.
we need to figure out what he's been up
Void
to,
puppy.
what he's
Yeah, void
doing,
puppy.
and where he's going, and all sorts of nonsense like that.
That is the. That's why I was going for Lady Gentle for help on that.
Corvus,
So-
I'm gonna put a hand on your shoulder, very, very tentatively. That way, I'm trying not to touch you, but I'm making the gesture.
No bullet wounds.
Let me heal you.
And Mirrors took care of that. It's just sore.
Oh, usually when
Punch it.
divine healing happens, it's pretty good. I'm just gonna ask you to do something very important for me. You're capable of it. I know you're capable of it. Go scry on yourself.
Magic
Yes.
has problems.
What problems?
Don't have it right.
Why don't you have it?
Because I change up what I prepare, I have to scribe into this metal which spells I use for the day.
What did you replace out? Scrying's entirely useful every day. I keep it all the time.
Healy, have I
Remember-
gotten back after?
Remember,
You never said you were heading
what-
back, so if you want to be back,
what
yeah.
has happened to me.
Okay,
That
I'm heading
type of magic
Yeah, you can be back at this point. You land on the deck.
is not something that I ever want to do.
All right. Well,
But
here's the
given
problem.
the
I am gonna have a
situation-
hard time differentiating between you and him with scrying
Right?
magic.
I know.
It'll be much easier if you do it because you know the difference in a
Corvus
very
scries on himself.
internalized way.
I understand that.
So prepare scrying tomorrow. You're going to scry. I'm going to go cast legend lore really quick on Corvus Adderlast and
I
see
have
what
an important
happens.
Question.
Hmm?
You did say that we did have a message for a while ago that Kerr said Corvus came and took Zavada, yes?
Yes.
So that would imply that was the other one. This
Yes.
first one.
That's what we've already
Yeah,
kind of
well-
been assuming.
Has anyone talked to Harkount?
No.
Who is Harkount?
Oh, fine. I'm going to Wyndham. Ugh.
Is he in Wyndham?
Oh, he's just like, what? Seriously?
He's a very powerful lord.
There's a possible one who is going to be giving
A-
out, like,
giving
secret
a
draws you first,
powerful, possible god-killing weapon to the group, so that we
He was
could.
giving something so we could draw the first dragon away from a city.
Something very intense and attractive. And magical.
And from the last time you told me about it, it seems the last time you went to him, you were still using Zavada as your main form of travel.
Mm-hmm.
It's not unreasonable to think that is what you'd be looking for.
Corvus's direction right now is what essentially I have ascribed to the conviction that I had was our hatred of magic. That's all. That's consumed him now. That's all he is. If I am everything else, that is the only thing that he has. And he said to me in not so many words that he's going to rid the world of the shackles of magic.
As you can see, none is a good, it does, only is a bad.
Yes. Which, from our
Unreasonable.
history, that was our sole conviction.
All right. Well, I guess we can't rest on this.
Which I've been toying around with my head since we've learned of this.
Jackson, can you contact Tilde and ask him to check in with Harcount if he's in town?
I will do what I can. And Jax will message Zelenko. Can you please go see if Harcount is in town, and if so, touch base with him to see if any of ours, specifically Corvus, have come to pick up anything from him.
I don't know if it's part of him or what he is doing, but if there's a god that is everything about magic, and she's going a bit batshit crazy right now,
Yeah,
I'm not a betting man.
Doesn't really
but-
suit the purposes of the first dragons. If they get their goddess killed, then they lose access to her heaven, does it?
No.
No.
But
we have to do this one step at a time, Corvus. One step at a time. So, first of all,
we have to. He's been ahead of us for years.
A year. We need to find out. We need to find out what's going on with Harcount. We need to figure out if that is still something we can make sure is secure. We need to make sure that Lady Gentle. We need to find a way to resecure her. There was another version of her.
Louis was raising his hand.
Yes.
Yes.
Considering I'm an unknown quantity to the other
I don't
one,
know
this
him.
Lady Gentle.
That is true.
We would be the best person to send in to get this parasite off of her once we figure out how to get the parasite off of her.
Well, wouldn't it be easier just to grab her and bring her back?
She is a very dangerous woman.
If you see any large stones around her, don't approach them. They really mess you up. Very large glowing stones. Just don't. Oh my god.
She is versed in magic and not magic. She is very, very wise and dangerous. If Corvus has access to her things, then she in her den is a very dangerous individual, especially since she won't recognize you as a friend. I don't know if you'll be able to nab her easily. Also, she lives right next to the palace where the king and queen of Barast are. If we throw up too much dirt, we will have every guard just all over the place, and confusion will reign on all over the place. We got to be careful about, especially if freaking a Noranese individual of unknown quantity attacks a known lady of the court right there. That could be we gotta figure this out. We need it. We need to.
Well, in all honesty,
myself on the same basis, but I think it would bring up the same problems.
Yeah, honestly, if you want to go after her, I'm feeling I'm the best, because hearing the statements, everyone here uses magic. I'm the only one who is about as mundane as you get. Any little toys they might have to neutralize all of you won't touch me.
But they will have poisons.
They have poisons and toxins and
other things.
Other things that are as dangerous as magic. That was my goal.
We should not move. We should not move right now unless we need to. But I do want to know, there were 2 Lady Gentles, right?
There were 2 Lady Gentles.
which means
No thanks to me.
the other Lady Gentle is out there, and I think that she is the one that I took to that orchard. I remember the tree because I scried on her a little extra long while she was meeting with somebody, and they called her Lady. Oh, I forget what it was, but she's probably there. Maybe she knew that something was getting too close to her, and that's why she was beating feet. And the other one got compromised. But anyway, we're gonna need to make contact with her, and we also need to know about the heart count thing. But there's nothing more we could probably do tonight. We can just only hope that Lady Gentle doesn't get absconded with or killed overnight.
Or is that she is not already gone in some manner?
Yeah, I mean, he may have decided he has no more use for her and has already decided to.
Maybe the thing was just to get to me, because when I was there, I was no longer needed. I was
Less doom and gloom and more hopeful optimism.
If he had to have planted that worm on her ahead of time, then there's no reason to think that killing you was the main goal. It might be that there was a happy coincidence.
Probably information, probably access to things. The
It
library.
The library was
second body.
Telde.
The library was very important to me, yes. And its knowledge.
You're walking through the city, having received these various messages.
Mhm.
There is a sudden flash, followed by a vroom. And you can see in the direction of the library, fire.
All right. Well, in that case,
My spell slots.
Luckily, he does have an open channel back, so.
Yeah.
I will send off that message and head toward the library.
Okay. You start running towards the library. Shaxton,
Cassie in her grave cheering, by the way.
Shaxton, you receive that message back.
Sax will just look at the group as they're discussing it and go, the library is on fire.
Oh, that wasn't...
Do we go?
I don't know. I don't have everything that I would want to prepare for something like this.
Hesitation makes waste. I'm running for the deck.
We don't have any presentation. We can save people regardless. Come.
No, we can save knowledge.
Hadwin!
There might be people living in there.
There is a sudden thump, 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 as Hadwin just drops down the ladder hatchway.
I'm running up the deck. I have to get the tree.
Hadwin will see you coming up the ladder and let you go through first.
Actually,
and then
wait. I'm just going to wait for everybody to get there, and then I'm going to use fucking Wish, because I got it prepared still. I'm casting Teleport. We're going to the library, motherfuckers.
Okay.
Multiple casting a Wish now.
I'm grabbing Tressa as we go.
Right.
I've got 3 wishes every day. Might as well fucking do it.
Right. Whereabouts?
I'll let
Do
someone
you wanna...
The street in front of the library.
Okay. Gifton and Co. You appear outside the library, and you can immediately feel heat. There is flame start coursing through the upper levels of it, windows shattering, spreading rapidly. And it's clearly not natural. There is the red flame, but you can see tinges of blue, purple, magical flame licking out of things. And as you stand there, ready to act, that is where we're going to end this week.
Hey. Great, because I was about to cast Tsunami, and that was going to be really awkward.
Just right after we hit Wendon, that is the message to Carrick.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Went a slightly different direction than I expected, but we're still good. Everyone take 3,000 experience. And we will do this same time next week.
Do I get
Oh yeah, and everyone gets a point of piety, of course.
Do I lose a point of
Yeah, I'm at
piety?
49. I'm at 49.
Ping 50.
Is there a reason you'd lose a point of piety?
Because I asked Aya to be a messenger bird?
No, you don't lose a point of piety for that.